Welcome to the Upsurge Contenders League. We are here tonight with an Ocean Division game between Maelstrom and Lane Zero Inferno. I am Joe Hellmite Silva, joined here tonight by Daniel, the Saved One Mena, and we are already into Champ Select. Let's go ahead and start talking about it.
Yeah, two amazing teams coming into this one. I'm really excited to watch this one because it's obviously high elo teams. Lane Zero Inferno ending these past 2 weeks 2-0, as well as UTA Maelstrom 1-1. So this is a very important match for both of these teams. We're already looking at the bans here, which is a pretty interesting band so far. Shaco, Morgana, Darius for Maelstrom and Lane Zero. They got 3 of their own very, very soon. Gragas, Jason, Zaya. Shaco obviously getting buffed in the last patch, so that's kind of an interesting one. But now we got the picks.
Yeah, and interesting to note, though, Yuumi did get through pick ban here, obviously falling a little bit in priority, but is available if teams want it. But Maelstrom thinking about the Rakan here, even though Zaya is off the table.
Exactly, and I think that Rakan and Zaya have been separated a lot of the times. Usually you see a little bit more Zaya than you do Rakan, but a lot of times at Worlds, teams will love to prioritize their bot lane, especially, I was going to say Nautilus Kai'Sa, but Nautilus Caitlyn is going to be fine with that. Rakan, a little bit more situational, but I want to see what they end up pairing with it.
Yeah, Maelstrom definitely knew they wanted to opt into the Rakan right off the bat, hence the first pick here. Might think about picking up the marksman to kind of balance out the bottom lane. As you mentioned before, Kai'Sa is available if they want to grab that up here, but really taking their time to think about what that last pick is going to be. No Zaya on the table. And will be the Sivir finally locked in.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of weird. You can kind of see where Sivir is coming from because, all right, you just kind of like walk over traps. I think that's the only real reason. Other than that, Nautilus has a lot of CC. If he misses you with one of them, he's got you with the second. So I think that's Sivir is kind of screwed in that regard. But I do like the Kled pick coming out from Maelstrom. But Lane Zero really fast with this next pick. It's going to be the Garen. Ended up getting buffed in the last patch, and from what I've heard, Garens usually are going, I believe they're going like something into Triforce. I don't know what that first item is. I think it's IE, but IE into Triforce, it's a very expensive build, but once you get it going, it's really strong.
Yeah, got to be quite powerful here, and Maelstrom may be hoping that the power of the early game Kled, which you can't deny really, is going to be enough to stuff the Garen, but Garen quite good in the early game as well, even before he gets those power spike items going, so definitely have to see how that top lane matchup is going to work out. As we go into the second ban phase, Hecarim going to be Lane Zero's first ban taken off here, Maelstrom thinking about what they want to remove from the pool.
It's going to be a lot of junglers, and I think a lot of early game junglers at that. Maybe Elise, Lee Sin could be coming out. Rek'Sai is another jungler that's been being played a lot more. But these guys are all over the place with their different bans. I like the Orianna ban as well because of the recent buff to her ultimate getting 50 plus damage. So that's really cool. Hecarim's probably just a target ban, even though he's been played even just a little bit. But it's still all good. A couple more bans are about to come out here too.
Yeah, Zadie29K is a Hecarim player, has been using that in solo queue, so it does make sense to take that off the board as we have a bunch of mid lane bans here. Akali and Vladimir taken away by Maelstrom, and Lane Zero, of course, with the Orianna pick, and that will leave the Elise available for Lane Zero to grab right out of bans.
Yeah, there you go. And you know, you have a couple of more jungle picks available, of course. You've got obviously the Elise and the Rek'Sai like I was talking about earlier, but Elise was definitely one of those that I was talking about that's just super strong right now. When your team is lacking a lot of AP, you just shove an Elise into a comp and it's really good. If you're also lacking a little bit more AP, it could be a Gragas if you want to put that out there. Sejuani, kind of I'm not a huge fan of this pick just because it's past the tank meta, it's past the Sejuani meta. Sejuani only really becomes meta once a year, and it's for a very small period of time, and the Sejuani meta is already passed.
Yeah, did receive a couple of nerfs over the last couple of patches, so not in the strongest of spot, but Maelstrom saying, we'll still take the frontline tank, we will still enjoy that in the jungle, and going to have to first pick their mid laner here. A couple options on the table, thinking about the Syndra, and I wouldn't be surprised if that did get locked in.
Yeah, it's a really good pick to shove into the mid lane. I know that a lot of teams have also, and this is kind of already done, but if you wanted to flex your Tristana Syndra, if you wanted to do that maybe in the next draft, obviously you can't do it anymore, but I know that a lot of teams have been doing that. But Syndra's still a really good solo laner right now. You shove it into the mid lane, you shove it into the bot lane, and you can just work wonders on this champion. She's still turning into that R bot, but In lane 0, they got to pick one more champion. It's got to be a top or a mid laner. My bad. And Echo, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, picking up the Echo for the mid lane. I do really like this counter pick into the Syndra.
Yeah.
I think he does quite well. Can wave clear if all else fails, but has the ability to just get on top of her. So I think this is a good adaptation for lane 0. Obviously, they had the advantage knowing that they had that last pick and opting into more ability power damage than I think we might have expected otherwise.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of AP coming into this team, or at least in these last two picks coming out here. At least an amazing early game jungler. You can also flex Echo into the jungle. Obviously, you're not going to get an Elise mid lane, but yeah, Echo is still really, really good into something like Syndra if he can play it correctly at least, because of course, Syndra can be very annoying with a lot of poke versus these melee mid laners, and I think that's what this Echo is going to kind of be facing here in this early laning phase. Once they both reach 6, though, it's going to become a little bit easier because Echo does love to roam, but other than that, it's going to be Syndra just absolutely bullying this lane if Echo doesn't really know how to play it.
Yeah, gonna have to see some skill come out here for lane 0's mid laner, making sure they can get the Echo through, but I think I want to talk about the jungle matchup a little bit more here. Elise, Sejuani, both of which are going to be good early. They have powerful ganks, and in all honesty, I think a lot of the attention might go to the top lane, given that you have Garen, Kled, who are two champions who can really run away with games.
Yeah, and I think like Elise is gonna get around a lot in this early game, and if she doesn't, then she's not going to be sitting in a good space, because Sejuani, even though she's decent at ganking in the early game, the only real lanes that she can honestly gank are the ones that are super overextended. I don't know how many of those we're going to be seeing here in this match, but at least she can gank literally any lane. Like, she can dive towers with ease. She's got the repel to get out if her and the laner or her in the bot lane are really good at juggling the aggro, then they can definitely pull out some amazing dives at that. So I think that Elise definitely wins this jungle matchup, but if she cannot get an early game lead onto at least one of her lane carries, then she definitely has not done her job.
Yeah, and I think you have a bunch of matchups that can really set up the Elise for a gank. The bottom lane, especially with the Nautilus, the Dredge line, all that CC, as you were talking about earlier, really enables the Elise to make the plays. So it might be the bottom lane focus instead for lane 0, knowing that they have that extra setup.
Yeah, she has a lot of these options. You touched on the bot lane matchup. She definitely has an option in the mid lane just because of how immobile Syndra is. Even if Elise knows where the enemy jungler is, she can even try and dive mid lane. I know that a lot of cases some Elise mains will do that, and it's very easy to do so because Echo, he's got the stuns, he's got the gap closers. Elise, she has her own gap closers and her own base damage in the early game. It's an amazing lane to gank if she definitely wants to do that, and even in the top lane, because Garen does need to get ahead in this early matchup, and Kled does need to be shut down. And I think that both of them have amazing gap closers. So I think that Elise is just going to take this matchup away, unless this Sejuani player is just absolutely insane. Unless Zeta is just crazy.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Zeta is able to do there. If you had to give an edge to one of these two teams here, who are you picking?
I'm a little bit more biased because I'm an Elise one trick, but as a lane 0. But I do like what Maelstrom have picked up here. I think they might be one patch behind. I think that's the only problem with their team. Sivir not really meta right now. Rakan is not a first pick champion. I think you definitely could have prioritized a little bit better in that regard. Sejuani obviously not meta anymore. They're a little bit more caught up with the top lane and mid lane with the Syndra and Kled. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of their comp, but they can definitely prove me wrong.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and they will have to prove themselves wrong as lane 0 sitting at 2-0, like we mentioned before, looking pretty. Have to see if Maelstrom can upset them here in game 1. We will be hopping into a brief intermission, but before we go, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it all starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. Kono works with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. Kono have been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pools. If you need to find a new keyboard and more for your setup, we can't recommend anyone better than Kono. For more information, head over to kono.store to check out all they have to offer. That's going to be up for us, guys. We're going to be hopping into a brief intermission, but when we come back, we'll have game 1 of UTA Maelstrom versus lane 0 Inferno. Don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the cast. We are here for Game 1 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. Of course, on the blue side, we do have UTA Maelstrom. Oh, we are going to hop into a brief pause here as Zeta29K has disconnected. Looks like they're going to be really quick back here, but that does give us time to go through the roster very quickly. Maelstrom over on the blue side, of course. Neo Restoration up in the top lane. Zeta29K in the jungle. Kure in the mid lane. Fred at 80 carry. And Sem his support.
And over on the red side, we have Lane 0 Inferno. We have Revnon in the top lane. Take 1-1 in the jungle. Lay Mellow in the mid lane. Broadcast. I thought I said broadcast in ADC. And Lay Bills on support.
Yeah, a little bit of an early attempted 5-man play was spotted out very early by Fred, so this will be walking over to make sure they haven't been invaded, but Lane 0 Inferno already flexing these muscles, sitting at 2-0, feeling confident enough to try and go for something that cheesy.
Yeah, definitely. If just kind of preventing the potential invade from what I saw, but I do like how Elise is starting towards this top side. Obviously, the jungler's just kind of starting. Oh, that's weird. I was gonna say that junglers are gonna be starting their normal camps, the vanilla start, as they both start at their red buff, but we're gonna have to see how this Sejuani reconnects, though. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, a couple of connection issues, but I'm expecting a bit of a quiet start here. Probably both lanes leashing. We could have vertical jungles here if the Elise does start the red and Sejuani goes back down. You do see Fred and Sem hanging around the red buff on the bottom side of the map, so it is a possibility that that's what we end up with, but like you said, we'll have to see here as we wait for Neo Restoration, I believe, to come back. Said something about lag in the chat.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but I think the one matchup we never really touched on was this top lane matchup. I kind of want to see a little bit more of it too, with the Garen and the Kled, because we know that Kled is very meta, right? But seeing Garen is kind of weird, right? We haven't seen Garen in a very, very long time. I don't even think I've ever seen Garen throughout my casting career go up and actually no, it was in the Juggernaut meta when he got reworked. That was about it. With can't remember who else got it was Darius and Skarner.
And Mordekaiser. Remember the Mordekaiser 100% pick ban at World?
Yeah,
that was a fun time.
Yeah. That was the last time I saw Garen. But now we're starting to see him again because of the huge rework that happened to his kit. He's trying to come back into the meta, so hopefully we get to see some spin to wins happen there with the amount of critting that he can do. Or if he just goes full tank, then hey, more power to you. I kind of want to see a little bit more of a damage Garen build. But looking at the matchup itself, it's going to be kind of interesting because they're both lane bullies, right? If Kled ends up going in at any point, Garen can very easily trade back with a silence you and then just spin, right? So it could be kind of cool.
Yeah, and so, funnily enough, I play both of these champions top lane. The Garen and the Kled. And speaking, at least from my personal experience, obviously it might be different. We're playing at a bit of a higher elo than I usually am at. But the Garen smashes the Kled. Yeah. Because the Kled wants to go all in. He wants to be fighting all the time. Garen's able to counter the immediate initiation by pressing W. He gets the shield. He gets, I guess, not the damage reduction anymore, but he does get that 10% shield. He's able to get the silence off, spin to win, get a whole bunch of damage down, and Kled, once he pops off Skarl, well, hey, that gives you a really good indicator for press R on this dude now. So I do think this is a fairly good matchup for the Garen, but if he does push out, he's significantly less safe from jungle intervention than the Kled is. Kled has the ability to just kind of joust away from danger. Yeah. Garen, his only hope is that he's able to use his W to reduce the duration of any CC that lands, but with the Kled, the Sejuani, that's going to be a lot of crowd control coming right at his face. So I think we will be seeing Zeta29K might be looking to make something happen in the top lane if the Garen pushes.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those possibilities. If Sejuani does want to camp this top lane a little bit, that's the one lane that we were actually talking about. That Sejuani can definitely camp, and usually junglers absolutely love to camp top lane because of how large that lane is, right? It's a lot of space for you to actually try and cut off the enemy mid laner or the enemy top laner if they really want to. Bot lane, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a shorter lane. So it could be a little bit more hard as well. Caitlyn and Nautilus, they have extended ranges. So hopefully we can now jump into this one as the junglers are going to be starting at their normal camps.
Yeah, we are going to be popping back in after the pause here. This will be the jungle both starting on the bottom side of the map, and this is going to be leashless start actually for take 1-1, so might be a little less healthy as he completes his first clear, but is still at least does have a pretty safe clear on top of that, so giving a little bit of early lane pressure for Brodas and Latatalis.
Yeah, it could be a very big possibility that both of these junglers kind of go these different routes in the bot lane though. I've seen Nautilus. He was going for something aggressive. But yeah, what I was gonna say is that these junglers are gonna be going very different routes. Like Sejuani, if she really wants to, can go for a full clear. Elise, however, is kind of looking like she wants to do her whole entire blue jungle into red buff, and it will give you the build level.
Yeah, trying to make sure get that early experience advantage going. The Sejuani, of course, will get spotted out on that very late ward that was placed down by Lamelo, so that is going to mean that lane 0 Inferno know where the enemy jungler is. Might be able to look for something here on the top side of the map, but Revnon is pushing.
Looks like Kled just kind of wanted to use some abilities to clear the minions. So we're not seeing that aggressive Kled that we usually see, because if you look at Garen's positioning, this dude, he's looking for it and he's going.
Yeah, Revnon getting the damage through, spinning to win up there. Like I said, Nia Restoration knows he has to play this a little bit more safely than normal. Backs away, gives him full run of the map, but the on the way ping, take 1-1, might be looking at the blue buff, or at least calling out the position of Zed at 29k. That's going to be Revnon rotates down. They might have a contest on this blue buff.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy guess as to where the Sejuani is, and you can fully see that the tracking is going on.
That is very low HP here. They're going to go over the wall. The stun comes through. The damage is there. The flash away is going to get Zed to safety for just a moment, but not too much longer. Revnon takes first blood, and now Nia Restoration all by himself. He's lost Scarl. He's trying to shotgun his way to safety. Flashes away and gets out with his life. And now Kure has found Lamelo in the jungle here. Flashes in order to avoid the stun. And looks like they will be walking out of here with not very many flashes. Latatalis looking for something in the bottom lane. Misses the hook.
Yep. Ooh, also really nice trade in the mid lane.
Yeah, lots of damage being trading back. Both of these teams looking for it, but that's the early game play that they were able to make. Revnon shoving the wave and take 1-1, moving in.
And I absolutely love what Elise is doing right here, too, is that she's trying to counter jungler as best as possible. Of course, Elise, being that early game jungler, is allowed to do kind of that extra camp and get out with ease if she really needs to. But Sejuani beelining straight for the ball lane, which is a little bit weird. Of course, she can definitely take the scuttler, but in the mid lane, looks like Echo's taking a lot of damage. I thought he was going to die there.
Yeah, Lamelo very low. I was looking for the ignite, but Kure is teleport instead, so can't quite finish that one off, but definitely feeling himself. Will have to use his own teleport in order to get back to lane. And meanwhile, Zed at 29k, still hanging around the bottom side, chased away by take 1-1.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Sejuani was about to get collapsed on, but I don't think that Elise exactly knew what was going on in the bot lane.
Really, Tablis gets traded back on, is able to use the battle dance in order to get himself away. Take 1-1 is looking for this. He does have the flash. He lands it on Zed 29, who gets stunned up. The damage comes through. The root is there, and take 1-1 takes the second kill of the game here.
And the one thing that a lot of people forget when you're facing someone like a Sejuani is that she's very squishy in the early game. Even though she has a decent amount of health, or more health than other junglers, she doesn't have a whole lot of base damage and not a whole lot of armor either, or magic resist. So the fact that Elise just, flash cocoon, kind of knew that Zeta didn't have the flash from the earlier skirmish, but it was just a very, very easy kill. So really nicely done. She's still staying in the bot lane here. I don't know if she wants to do anything, but Echo also coming. We're starting to see the top lane a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely Neo Restoration getting that remount here in order to stay in lane, but you can see how hard this is for him to deal with. Revnon just kind of able to do whatever he wants with the strength of that newly reworked Garen.
Yeah, exactly. And he also gets a lot more sustain because of his new passive. He, instead of 9 seconds to recharge, it's now 7 seconds as well. Minions cannot deactivate Garen's passive anymore, so he's just going to be playing super, super aggressive within this lane. He's going to be sustaining all the while fine, because Kled, he already had to go back to base and get his two Doran's Blades, but Garen's completely fine in this.
Yeah, and that stun is actually going to land. Lamelo able to take a really good trade and just walk away, so Kure down to half. But yeah, definitely the advantage that Garen does have is just walk away, wait for your passive to tick, and just heal all the way up. Kled not with that advantage. And remember, Revnon 2 had a red buff from the earliest stage in the game when he killed Zed at 29, which is a ton more sustain, as we see both junglers here on the top side.
Yeah, and you can see just kind of comparing in the items, at least having the Fetus Codex just allows her to have just that much more damage. And I really like how she's just kind of staying in this bush on the prowl. She's being very patient. And sometimes this is how you're supposed to gank a Kled. You just gotta be very patient and then come out with a Cocoon.
Yeah, isn't able to quite land it, so the patience is for naught, and this will be Zeta 29k. Walking away after clearing a ward, but that means the pressure is towards the top side. They want this Garen to be able to go for those aggressive early game builds. Like you said, we might see the Infinity Edge into Trinity Force.
Exactly, and I hope we can see something a little bit more aggressive like that. Maybe not even a Trinity Force at that. Maybe we just see an IE come out into a tank Garen build. Who knows what this guy's been trying out in the mid lane though.
Yeah, Kure is able to juke away from the crowd control, but running away can't go to his tower, and Take 1-1 is going to take that kill as well. And this is going to be a lot of tower plating going down. That is a big minion wave that Maelstrom are not going to be able to get.
Yeah, and I was talking about that in Champion Select, how Elise can definitely dive the mid lane. And you just basically saw it right there, just how easy it was. It would have been a little bit more easy if Elise initially tanked the tower, because then Echo wouldn't have lost all that much health. But I don't think the results would have been any different, because 2 tower plays going down in the mid lane means a lot of gold into the pockets of Elise. Now she's starting to slowly snowball and scale. This is looking like a really nice game. Echo also going for the Proto Belt. There in the mid lane, you can already see that he's got the Hextech Revolver as well as the Kindle Gem, so he's sitting very pretty versus someone like Syndra.
Yeah, definitely a comfortable lead here for lane 0. Inferno already up about 3,000 gold. It is early, so those numbers are subject to change, but definitely can't fault them too much, especially with how much of their power is tied in the strength of these early game picks.
Yeah, a lot of these picks are really what kind of make or break this game in terms of the snowballing lead that each of these teams have. Even though I was going to say the gold is kind of even, but it's not. It's not really. At 8 minutes, it's like a 3k gold lead. But the one thing that's really going to make or break some of these lanes is the snowballing lead. You can already see in the top lane, just even a little bit of pressure being put up there, as well as in the mid lane. Echo is usually supposed to lose this lane just because he's melee versus someone like a Syndra. In the mid lane, though, he's going for one more.
Yeah, taking a look around, Take 1-1, able to bully them away, give another tower plate over to Lamello, who actually gets the solo gold off of that as well. So, going to be a very, very farmed Echo here, able to get to those items and maybe able to turn a lane that you, as you were saying, should be a losing lane.
Well, usually as a jungler, you have to look for things like that, where you can't really be greedy in terms of, can I kill this lane? You just have to look at some lane matchups like, can I just help him shove out this lane? Can I help him get a lane plate? And that's exactly what Elise ended up doing there. Of course, a kill would have been 10 times better, but hey, you allow your Echo to get the solo tower plate gold, and it just works all that much.
Here we go again. Flash again burned from Kure, and not able to hold on to that summoner spell. And as you were saying, a great play from Take 1-1. No kill, but you're burning summoner spells. You're allowing the Echo to keep having pressure, and Lamello might be able to start looking at the side lanes, maybe making a play here.
Exactly. He could maybe go for a little bit of XP denial throughout these minions, and I love how Elise is prioritizing this mid lane, at least. How she's just full-on control of this bot side jungle, just because the dragon's up. That's obviously a huge priority right now. The tower plates in the mid lane, just to allow Echo to start to roam, like you were saying, is another huge priority. Shutting down someone like a Syndra is obviously really good as well. Oh, I thought that the Scuttler was a champion. I was about to get really hyped, but no, Nautilus just helping out with the Scuttle.
Yeah, Scuttle Crab height, taking that one down. You did see earlier Rebnon trying to actually steal away the blue buff, was caught out there by Neo Restoration. They realized what he was up to and did get Zeta the blue buff, but 0-2 on the Sejuani, a little bit further behind than I think they maybe wanted that champion.
Yeah, and I was touching on it in Champion Select that Sejuani is just not good right now. I'm not a huge fan of this champion. I think that I don't know if Zeta was a one-trick Hecarim at all, but Sejuani is definitely not the next best pick. I'll stop kicking the horse while it's down, but yeah, obviously you can see the jungle matchup. But in the mid lane,
Kure is going to get caught out again. The Cocoon is going to miss. The damage is not nearly enough, and Take 1-1 looking to take this by himself. He will pick that up, go on a killing spree here. Kure not having a great time, and this is likely going to be first tower here in the mid lane if they're able to get one more wave.
Yeah, it's a very simple jungle strat. You camp one lane until the enemy gets tilted. Right. No matter how many times the actual gank was successful, there is a Kled charge in the mid lane though.
Yes, here we go. The initiation is going to be onto the Nautilus. But very, very tanky, able to survive for quite some time. Lamelo with a two-man stun is going to get his whole team to safety here. Very nicely juggled on the aggro there from lane 0 Inferno, and they're all going to get out.
That was absolutely amazing coming in from Echo, just to stun all 3 members and then disengage. Didn't want to go for anything too crazy. They knew that they already got the advantage because of the Rift Herald spawning in the top lane. It's going to be at least 3 plates going down up there, even a TP. This could be the tower itself. This rotation is crazy.
Yeah, with the Echo on top of that and the Herald, no one is here to answer this push. So this will be first tower going down and a ton of gold in the pockets of lane 0 Inferno. See the gold lead already ballooning out to about a 4,000 only 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's definitely very big in the top lane though.
Revnon forced to flash away as they're all going to find Sam, and he just goes down. Wrong place, wrong time, and that is the 5th kill now picked up for lane 0.
I was talking about the Triforce, and there it is. Garen slowly building towards. It's got the phage, already has the stinger, just needs the sheen. I expected him to get the sheen first, or at least, yeah, obviously the phage. But what's my opinion if he's just gonna go back to base and get a Triforce immediately in the mid lane?
Comes through, take 1-0 is able to land it, and Brodas takes that kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Lamelo really wants Fred. Not quite gonna use the parallel convergence to get that in there, but a ton of damage goes through, and this is lane 0 being relentless.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing rotations coming in from each of these members. You can see Garen already going towards the bot lane. The bot lane themselves ended up rotating into the mid lane just to try and defend it a little bit better, while Elise and Echo roam around and just get as many objectives as possible. Echo also putting a lot of pressure towards that top lane, is really getting into the minds of the enemy, because you can see them. Garen already just getting 2 plates down bot for free. Sejuani cannot do anything. No one's really coming to the rescue of this tower. And by the time that Sivir is already down here, 3 plates have already went down.
That is going to be 13 plates in the favor of lane 0. That is a huge gold advantage, even disregarding the kills. Their ability to pressure down these towers in the early stages of the game has been huge, and whole team coming back from buys. You're seeing all of the power items coming through. Caitlyn already sitting on Infinity Edge. Echo starting to work on that Lich Bane. Elise going for more damage. Why not? You're 3-0-3.
Exactly.
Lane 0 in full command of this game.
Yeah, usually on Elise, you love to build. You can build Leandri second, and that's kind of what you do when you have around 800 gold. You can buy the blasting one instead of just buying the hunting guys first. So I think that's what she's going for. Also, getting the Mobies is super OP. Because you're just basically running around the whole entire map, just killing literally whoever you want. Next Dragon's also coming up in about 1 minute, which is why you see so many wards and so much bot lane pressure going down right now. It's going to be an Ocean Dragon at that. So definitely lane 0 want this.
Yeah, even more pressure. Let them stay out on the map longer and keep pressing in. And I gotta ask, what does Maelstrom do in order to start bringing this back and reducing this gold lead?
I think that they need to get a lot more kills onto priority targets that they're not already getting. You need to start bringing the Kled towards the team whenever possible. Of course, in situations like this, he does have to defend this top lane tower, but just allow your champions to get more items on them as well. Just allow your kind of your main carries get their main priority items. The Sivir she needs like 3 or 4 items in order to become a champion. Your mid lane needs about 1 or 2 in order to become that Syndra one-shotting bot. It's kind of unfortunate that she only has a lost chapter as well as boots. She kind of bought the Sork boots just because. But Kled TPing into the mid lane. They definitely want to try and get this dragon, so we'll see how it all works out.
This will be priority here immediately for Maelstrom. They will actually start it up. Kled sitting on the charge. If they want to go for a fight here, it looks like lane 0 will be backing away. They know that lane Melo can't join this, so they're just going to seed the Ocean Drake, and there it goes.
I think that lane 0 were just very prioritized on towers and objectives. Well, not exactly objectives, or else they would have won for that dragon. But maybe they just don't care about an Ocean Dragon, right? What's 2 Ocean Dragons anyway?
Yeah, don't necessarily need it. It gives a little bit of sustain over here to Maelstrom, which they can definitely use, stay out a little bit longer, and try to get to those item breakpoints, as you were mentioning, is going to be so important. But Lamelo and Revnon getting the 1-3-1 split push here, kind of going in the side lanes because who's going to answer these champions?
Yeah, it's super hard to answer a fed Echo and a fed Garen. Now that Garen's got the Triforce, literally he can one-shot at least these squishies. We saw what he could do to a Rakan. I can't even imagine what he's going to try and do to Syndra if Syndra ends up coming up a little bit too far. But it's kind of interesting that Lane Zero are just taking this a little bit more slow now. I think if they really wanted to excel this game, they would try and send like 4 into a side lane and 1 into another side lane in order to try and get these outer towers, or maybe even this mid lane tower, right? You kind of have to break open the gate at some point. When you have a 7K gold lead at 17 minutes, you got to do something with your lead. And I don't think now is the time to take it slow.
Yeah, might just be waiting for the Baron to spawn, or maybe realizing, hey, we have a ton of gold. We don't have to force. We can afford to play this a little bit slow, but the scaling is going to be on the side of Maelstrom. They have the Sivir. They have the Sejuanius. Here we go. Lamel looking for the play. Parallel Convergence stun comes through. We'll be able to beat up Neo Restoration, but first mage into the tank, maybe not the greatest idea.
Yeah, also Elise in the enemy jungle trying to find some sort of a pick, and she couldn't really find it, which is kind of unfortunate. But now just the full-on push into the mid lane. And one thing that's actually really good for Maelstrom is that they've got the Sivir wave clear, which is just super powerful versus a sieging comp. So if they can keep Sivir alive in the mid lane, then that'll be really good. But this Echo is slowly whittling down this top lane tower.
Yeah, with the rotation will come out from take 1-1, and that will be another tower secured. Finally bullying that one down, and the vision control is already established here on the top side of the map for lane 0. So when that Baron spawns in 2 minutes, they'll have full vision of anyone trying to walk in and get a look.
Well, no, I even think that this tells you a lot about their vision when they're trying to siege onto a priority objective. So once Baron does come up, there's going to be a lot of more wards around the actual Baron pit itself, and even in the enemy jungle. But you can see just the ward setup that they planted down in order to get that top lane tower. Right, all of these wards needed to be in the right place. So this team's vision game is just super good. Definitely agree with your point on that. Baron's going to be coming up in about 1 minute, so they've got to start preparing for that. But first, they might want to try and take this bot lane tower. Syndra's just kind of sitting down here alone.
Yeah, this will be Lamelo escorting the minions in, trying to make sure they can't secure that. Might look for a play here. He doesn't know Kure is there, but the stun is going to miss. He's actually going to go all the way in. The damage is huge from the Echo, and the ultimate is not quite there. There he goes. Revnon is actually going to take that himself. The collapse comes through, and now lane 0 will secure themselves this second tower on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, they don't even have to put priority on this top side. They can just immediately siege down this bot lane, maybe even try and get an inhibitor question mark, or they just want to try and back off. 1 tower is obviously enough when you're playing a game like this one.
Ultimate comes out from Zeta. The stun is going to be there. Caitlyn has nowhere to help. Flash is going to be burned, but here comes the Calo. Revnon looking for it. Charge is going to come through. Sem is all by himself. He gets taken down. Revnon's so tanky on the front line. He's taking a bunch of damage. Force the flash away. Will survive just barely. And now they're in the fight near Restoration. Looking to try to go into late Tablos, who burns a stopwatch in order to keep himself alive. Teleport from behind. This will be Kure coming back in, and this might be the fight that Maelstrom are looking for. They're on to Brodast, who will go down. Kled is remounted. He's looking for late Tablos. He gets the charge, he gets the dash, he gets the kill. Double kill picked up for Neo Restoration. The rest of lane 0 heads for the hills, and that is a great fight here for Maelstrom.
UTA Maelstrom coming up huge in that fight. The engage was absolutely perfect. The only thing is that Echo was not in the fight, just trying to siege down this top lane. And already the pings are coming out, which is really good.
Ooh. Flashes forward actually and takes the kill here. Neo Restoration, though, coming around. He's looking for the play. Another contester has arrived. The pullback is in. The jousting is there. Lamelo forced to run for his life. He uses the chrono ship back onto Sem, who almost dies immediately, but not quite enough. Fred takes that kill. Maelstrom, all of a sudden, with 3.
Yeah, they've got now 3 more kills underneath their belt, and it also went on to priority targets, like I was saying earlier, is what they need to do. 2 went on to the Kled, 1 onto the Sivir, which is really good. She's slowly starting to try and build up her IE. If she can do that, then she'll be really good. But other than that, Dragon now coming up. This Wind Dragon is going to be really good for both of these teams, but you can kind of see that lane 0 are prioritizing it a little bit more, but still really good kills going over to Maelstrom.
Yeah, Maelstrom, I think, finding an opportunity finally where they were able to fight back against lane 0. The Echo kill on the top lane, I think, was more or less Lamelo seeing how much he could get away with and getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar. But the plays in the bottom lane was just a good fight.
Yeah, it definitely was really good. I like how Sejuani just kind of capitalized on her positioning there. Like she just saw a wide open Caitlyn with everyone else just disengaging, and she just went for it, right? It's that point in the game where you have to say to yourself, just go for it. And if you don't go for it, you're just going to slowly lose these games. So taking risks like that are really good. You see right now, though, lane 0 just trying to take this Baron. Maybe they're trying to bait it out.
Oh, flash forward, take 1-1, though, is going to miss. This is going to be the depth charge onto Kure, who is trying to get in, but they're going to trade carry for carry. Revnon now on the front line. He's trying to do the damage, but here comes Fled. He's on delay Tablos, who will be falling down, and now the fight is split. Lane 0 aren't grouped up here. They're trying to find a way back to their base, but this is going to be Lamelo and Revnon trapped on the other side. And the priority is going to be here near Restoration, actually finding the Echo, trying to get some damage through, get the pull back. Sem is coming to help him. He gets the jousting through. He will have the jousting to follow. No, it's going to time out. The Echo gets away and take 1-1. Cannot defend this on his own. This might be a tower finally going the way of Maelstrom.
Yeah, Maelstrom, they just need to keep taking these very small fights, and with whatever advantage they can, you just take one objective or two objectives if you really can. The one problem there with lane 0 is they ended up going for the Baron with just three or four members on it, and Echo was very late to flank in that team fight, so he was not able to get into the fight itself. The Elise was just alongside the Caitlyn Nautilus. They both, Caitlyn Nautilus, ended up dying very early in that team fight. So they just need to peel for your Caitlyn. Sometimes when your Caitlyn is this fed, even though she's 2-2-2, you look at her items, the IE and the RFC, even though she has that extended range, you need to play around that. She's got her trap line that she can very easily take objectives with if she really wants to. Baron's obviously a huge option for that, where you can just trap off some of these entrances, and you just have to group all of your members towards this. The one problem that I've actually been seeing as well is the Garen. Even though he's tanking up a decent amount of damage, he's not tanking up enough in some cases. We'll see how much damage he ends up doing in the spotlight.
Yeah, is able to take near Restoration down to about 66% HP, but can't dismount the Kled, so he'll be able to walk out. And like you're saying, he's tanky, but he's not tanky enough, and that might be the biggest difference in this game, is that where is the front line here for lane 0?
Yeah, it's honestly all over the place. The Nautilus isn't even that tanky right now. He usually gets pretty tanky at around 2 or 3 items, but right now he's got his full
flash forward. Kure forced to run away, but the chrono shift is going to be able to get the Echo to safety here. Ultimate for ultimate, at the end of the day, Kure is going to be the one forced back to base.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, is that the Nautilus, he's not really at that point of tankiness yet. The Garen does have to build. I believe he's trying to go for a dead man's here. He's already got the chain vest, doesn't have the giant spell just yet. But once he gets that, he'll be pretty decent. But I've just been seeing this Garen in these fights. He's doing a lot of damage to single target, but he's not really tanking up all the damage that he really needs to. So he needs to get to that point really fast. And I think it's nice that he's split pushing in this bot lane. But these guys have been doing 1-3-1 this whole entire game. I don't know how much it's working.
Oh, charge comes through. Tablos is caught out, and he will go down. Stalls for a little bit of time, but nothing else he can do, and now the On the Hunt is there. They're trying to run down on to take 1-1. Sem is going to be looking for the play. The ultimate is going to miss. Parallel Convergence comes through, but it's not going to get anybody. The Elise is finally going to get knocked down. A turret is going to fall the bottom lane, but I think the take 1-1 is going to get taken down. He will fall. A shutdown gold is picked up, but Revnon will trade that back for the inhibitor in the top lane. Lamelo trying to stop the back. Kure is going to get stunned up, but the chrono break takes the Echo away from a fight he might have been winning. Brodas now in the base as well. They're trying to prevent the recalls from coming through. Lamelo, he stalls for some time. He gets himself out. The rest of the team is going to be able to take down another inhibitor here. And now they're looking for the bottom lane tower. Brodas gets a shot onto it. But Kure is there. Near Restoration might be looking for the play. That is a big, beefy Garen and the Caitlyn. You're not going to want to go for that. And it looks like the trap will be able to get lane 0 out to safety. They trade kills for 2 inhibitors.
It was hilarious. Like, I kind of caster cursed it a little bit. I was saying how I didn't like the 1-3-1, and literally the 1-3-1 is what's keeping these guys in the game. Ended up getting 2 inhibitors, one in the top lane, one in the bot lane. Really good by Caitlyn just to say, you know what, I can't really do all that much in this team fight. I'm just gonna go and try and get this top lane. And she ended up getting just the tower, and with Garen's help, ended up getting the inhibitor itself. So really good job by these guys to call that one. Dragon coming up in just a couple of seconds, and it really looks like lane 0, they want to try and go for either one of these two big objectives, right? The Baron getting pinged on bot lane, the Mountain Dragon getting pinged on as well. So we'll see how they really transition this. With the Mountain Dragon, you can obviously take Baron just that much faster. So it does look like Echo does want to try and set up the top lane.
Yeah, this is going to be the Dragon first, then potentially the Baron here.
Yeah.
The rest of Maelstrom was in base, so they weren't able... So this is a pretty safe play. You're able to have your cake and eat it too, if they choose to go for Baron, but that's pretty risky. We've seen Maelstrom able to take a couple of these fights here, so once the whole team is grouped up, as here we go on the hunt, and Charge are actually burned. Bit of a nombo here, but Revnon trying to zone out the front line here. Sen is going in, but he is going to get smited by the Garen. The Echo is looking for the stun. He's not quite able to get it.
Whoa!
Forced away. Correa is going to get hooked. Correa is going to get taken down. Rodas very low HP. Buff the heal in order to keep himself in the fight. Revnon now back in. He's spinning. He's winning. He is able to take the kill in the Sejuani. Near Restoration is dismounted. Rodas flashes forward, takes the kill. He's looking for Near Restoration. Who gets the remount? He's looking for the kill. He's actually going to get it here. And now Late Tablet is all by himself. Take 1-1 looking for his cooldowns. Is finally able to take the kill here. Double picked up for the Kled. But Lane Mello is in the base. His teleport has been used, and this will be the game here for Lane 0 Inferno.
And while all of this was going on, Echo was like, yeah, but what about your base? And he's just knocking on the door. Ends up getting 2 Nexus towers, as well as potentially the win.
Yeah, he's going to take the kill on the Sem first, though. Pad that KDA a little bit. Correa's going to respawn, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. Lane 0 Inferno taking home game 1.
16-10 at 28 minutes into the game, 53k to 44, almost a 10k lead. A really, really nice job, and a nice game number 1 for Lane Inferno.
Yeah, definitely showing how to exploit those early game opportunities and how to run away with the game. You see all the time, especially in the lower elos, teams will get these huge leads and not know what to do with it and just kind of get outscaled and fall off. But Lane 0 saying, yeah, we're ahead right now. Sure, we'll get outscaled, but the game's not going to get to 30 minutes. We're going to end it now.
Exactly, and I think that 1-3-1 was actually what ended up winning them the game, even though I critiqued it. It was really good just to see the Garen split pushing, not really wanting to get into the team fight, regardless of if he had TP or not. Also, the Caitlyn just drawing back from that team fight and going top lane, ended up getting more and more pressure onto the base itself, and it just allowed them to finish off the whole entire game with just one single fight. Really good job coming in for game number 1.
Yeah, Lane Inferno is going to take that first game here, but we still have the rest of the series to play. See if Maelstrom can't turn it back around. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll have game 2 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back into Champ Select for Game 2 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. A commanding win for Lane 0 in the last game here, and you're going to have to see some adjustments coming up from Maelstrom. As you can already see, Garen and Elise not allowed.
Our producer said, so we're going to see a Garen ban, and we're like, nah. But yeah, Garen and Elise getting banned here from Maelstrom. I like how Lane 0 also banning out the Zion, just so that Maelstrom can't pair it with the Rakan, because I don't know, you couldn't really see what Rakan was doing in that last draft. I do want to see what Lane 0 end up picking here, because I feel like their draft's just a little bit more meta, at least from what we saw in the last match. We'll definitely have to see how it all pans out, but I do like the Gragas, the Jace slowly coming back into the top lane / the mid lane as well. Usually Jace is picked into ADCs, which is kind of weird to say, but it's kind of picked in top lane, mid lane if Tristana or Lucian get banned or picked into the top lane. Shaco obviously with the huge buffs with his ultimate, so he's getting banned out as well. But the Lee Sin as well as the Jarvan being picked up, two very early game junglers.
Yeah, definitely looking for both of these teams to get their jungler early on. Lane 0 saying, we'll take the Lee Sin. Serves a very similar role to the Elise as we were talking about in the last draft here, so no surprises there for Lane 0. Maelstrom saying, enough of the Sejuani, we're not going to worry about that. Hecarim even was on the table. Zeta 29k does play that champion a decent amount, but instead opting for the Jarvan the 4th for a little bit more of that early game ganking presence, and they will re-secure themselves to Caitlyn. Maybe not with the Rakan this time, but Caitlyn's still a very good pick regardless.
Yeah, Caitlyn really good, and we ended up seeing it in the last match that was actually very effective. The one thing that I didn't like is how Maelstrom ended up picking the Sivir, so they're kind of learning from their mistakes, realizing that she's not really that great of a champion, locking in a little bit more of a meta one. Usually we see Kai'Sa that's paired versus that with the Nautilus, so I do like that lane matchup a lot. And also they're just Tristana if they want to flex that into the mid lane or into the bot lane, depending on what their next pick is. Usually you want to pick a support along with that just to kind of confuse the enemy. And are we going to play Tristana into the mid lane, or are we going to play that into the ADC role?
Yeah, do have some options with that pick, but at the very least, we'll know where the Morgana is going. I guess you could flex that too as well if there's something crazy that comes up from Maelstrom. So a lot of flex picks here, but likely to be the Morgana in the bottom lane as support. Really shuts down the potential for Jarvan in order to get a gank off with that Black Shield. Shuts down the Nautilus as well preemptively, as you're able to Black Shield and just kind of negate all of that CC he's trying to bring to the table. So Maelstrom very smartly saying, we'll take the Karma then. Good poke into that Morgana.
Yeah, exactly. And Karma with her AoE burst is really good with your Q, and you also have a little bit of a stun with Karma, so it's not all that bad. And yeah, we're heading into the next ban phase here. Darius, Ken, and Echo, all of these different champions getting banned out. Maelstrom saying, you know what? We don't want to face the same comp as we did last time. Even though it's a completely different game, just ban it all out. The Echo getting banned as well. Kennen for the AoE would be really nice actually with Maelstrom's comp. Usually with the Jarvan you pick something like a Galio, and it's a pretty good combo. And it's also kind of weird that Yasuo is slowly coming back into the meta, but we're seeing that just a little bit more. I don't think Maelstrom wants to pull it out, but we'll definitely see.
Yeah, it is on the table, I suppose, as the Zoe is the last ban here for Lane 0. So Yasuo comp the dream, maybe not. Looking for both of their solo lane picks here.
Yeah, Galio is definitely a huge option here. We got about 13 seconds until it actually happens. You're talking about the Zoe, and the Zoe is definitely a huge control mage that is played into the mid lane. It's very scary to face against. Maelstrom saying, you know what, we loved the Kled. We're going to pick it once again. It's going right into the top lane. I want to see what Lane 0 actually end up picking into it, because before it was the Garen, and the Garen was very effective versus it. But Kled also had his little shining moments in different team fights. You can also flex the Syndra into the bot lane. We'll see where that ends up going. But yeah, the Kled, really good pick. I love it.
Yeah, too many flex picks over on Lane 0. Well, we won't know where they're all going until we actually get into the client champ select. But the Mordekaiser here coming out for Lane 0, so likely to be the Tristana in the bottom lane. Still some flex possibilities, but I think another really solid pick into the Kled. If he dives onto you, you just kind of get the passive going, do a whole bunch of just ambient damage by being near the guy. Maelstrom, though, they do have the option for the counter pick onto the mid lane, whatever Lane 0 happens to be thinking about playing. The Orianna was left up, and I think that'll be what they secure. Yeah,
Orianna versus Syndra, this is one matchup we see actually a lot at Worlds. because Orianna is just super strong right now. Syndra is that control mage that you can flex into 2 different lanes. Tristana is also played kind of in that matchup. The only problem with Tristana into Orianna is that if Tristana does jump in while Orianna is level 6, then there's that potential of getting shockwaved. Also, the pick of the Mordekaiser just kind of means that Caitlyn does have to pay the Mordekaiser tax, the Skarner tax, whatever you want to call it, where you have to build the QSS. So that's I always found that kind of weird when this big giant knight drags you to the Shadow Realm. Just buy QSS and you're fine.
Yeah, don't you know Silver Cloth is actually his weakness? The second you have one of those, he can't do anything about you. But either way, it will deny the Caitlyn a little bit of her power spike, especially we might see the mid laner as well grab one early on if there are any shenanigans with Mordekaiser. Okay, sure, the Caitlyn got it, but I'm going to ult the Orianna instead, drag her to the Shadow Realm. There is some possibilities there. And I do like the Morgana pairing with the Mordekaiser, give him a little bit more ability to get into the fight and get onto the targets he wants due to his lack of priority target.
Yeah, he obviously has his E if he wants to claw somebody in, but other than that, Morgana is going to definitely allow Mordekaiser just to do Mordekaiser-like things. I haven't seen a good Mordekaiser in actually a very long time, so I hope that Lane Zero knows how to play around this champion here in the top lane if he knows how to play against Kled himself. But yeah, like we're kind of starting to look at matchups a little bit more, and I love looking at the jungle matchup when I'm casting, because jungle matchups are always fun to kind of analyze and look at, because when you're facing someone when you're seeing someone like a Jarvan versus Lee Sin, that lane or that jungle matchup is very, very early game oriented. Jarvan loves to get around the level 2 to level 6 mark, and even once he reaches level 6, he's very, very oppressive. And the same thing with Lee Sin. If Lee Sin isn't 3-0 by level 6, then what are you doing on this champion? So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome jungle matchup.
Definitely exciting to see, especially take 1-1 again on an early game jungler. Now, not the Elise like we saw before, but still very strong. And we saw how good of a performance he had with just his early game decision making, the ability for Revnon to push in and then join him for that early game invasion. Obviously, I don't think the same play is going to work twice against Zeta 29K. He should see that coming if it does happen, but will still be exciting to see how take 1-1 does here.
Yeah, you're also starting to see where Syndra is going. We're looking at the actual champion select itself. Brodast ended up picking the Syndra as well. Tristana ended up going into the mid lane. So that's one pick order that usually we actually see. So it's kind of predictable to see where both these champions are going. I do like Syndra in the bot lane versus someone like a Caitlyn because of how oppressive this lane is to face against. Even though Caitlyn does have the extended range, it's really good to have a Morgana with the black shield so that she doesn't step on as many traps, as well as having the Syndra burst damage. When she does get the last chapter is really when she starts to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and especially Syndra being able to combo some stuns in with the Morgana stuns. There's really good kill potential here. The shield from Karma, maybe not doing so much here. Also important to note, we didn't talk about this before champ select, but there were a couple of substitutions here. Kure is in at support position, and Chuck T is going to be the mid laner here for Maelstrom. So swapping up the roster, maybe give themselves a little bit of a different play style to come back.
And usually teams do that if it obviously didn't work in game number 1, at least the team itself. So it's kind of good to do this. The only problem is that Chuck T is a little bit, I don't want to say rusty, but he still has to warm up, right? In the last one, I can't remember who ended up playing mid lane, but that dude, by game number 2, it's either that he's very, very tilted, or he's completely fine and already warmed up, right? He's ready to go into game number 2, ready to win it. But sometimes when you're tilted going into game number 2, you got to switch up the roster. Maybe that's why Chuck T is coming into this one. When you're playing someone like an Orianna, you can play it in 2 different ways. You can either play it very defensively, because you've got the shield, you have the wave there, or you can play offensively, where you're very fed, you ended up just using your ball very aggressively. You definitely do that if you want to switch up his playstyle.
Yeah, a couple of options here for how Chuck T wants to play. Is sitting on the exhaust, so would expect a bit more of a defensive playstyle, trying to counter Lamelo if he does choose to jump in with the rocket jump. As you said before, once level 6 rolls around, Shockwave is really going to put a stop to Tristana's shenanigans, but definitely looking for the sort of team fight wins here with the power that Command Shockwave gives you.
Exactly, and there's so many options in different team fights where if you want to put the ball on Jarvan, if you want to put the ball on Kled, you could definitely do that. What's going to be Mordekaiser's job, I think, is to see who's going to be charging into the team fight with the ball on them and try and drag them to the Shadow Realm. I don't think the ball actually ends up going to the Shadow Realm with Kled, but hey, maybe that's a cool little interaction that we'll see.
Yeah, have to see how that plays out. Unsure as to the interaction, but we will be hopping into Game 2 after a brief break. But before we go, we do want to talk briefly about Midwest Esports. Midwest Esports has been around for many years, starting out as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the U.S. They host tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, and Overwatch. For more information, check them out at midwestesports.com. We're going to be hopping onto that spectator delay intermission, but when we come back, we'll have Game 2 of Lane 0 Inferno versus Maelstrom. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 2 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. A couple of changes to both of these teams. In the case of Maelstrom, swapping in a new player. In the case of Lane 0, a new composition. But looking to see how these teams are going to interact with each other now that they've had that first game to kind of warm up.
Yeah, I was going to say that usually when you play game number 1, you see 5-point starts all across the board. But now these guys are starting to pair up. Maybe they're going to try and invade. You can see it right here. Mordecai's are going in. He's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, Revnon does get the smash down from the Obliterate. Does a little bit of damage that everyone's going to heal off. But Lane 0 trying to flex their muscles, say, yeah, we've got 1 game up on you guys. We can play aggressive. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly, right? They've obviously got something to lose. They don't have nothing to lose, but they have a little bit more leeway.
Have to see what they do,
aggressive.
but both these teams are going to back off. There was a couple of early wards placed down. You can see it down there for Maelstrom. They do have the ward.
Test. Hello? Can't hear you. Am I live right now? I might be live. Hell, I don't know if I DC'd or he DC'd, but okay, half enlightened. I'm guessing you can hear me, so I think we'll continue this one. Looking here in the mid lane, maybe we'll just do a solo cast. That's fine. Fine with me. Looking here in the mid lane, Orianna taking a little bit of damage, which is it's kind of perfectly fine. Usually we see Tristana in the mid lane versus someone like an Orianna. I think he did. Yeah, me too. We usually see this matchup a lot at Worlds. Come on here. Oh. Hey, cool. Thank you so much. It's all good. Yeah, we're starting to see the jungle matchup kind of come into fruition, where both of these junglers are slowly starting to make it through their whole entire jungle. I like how Jarvan's kind of doing that full clear, just taking down each of these camps, as well as Lee Sin. He's trying to do literally whatever he can here in his own respective side. Usually in this jungle matchup, we see a lot of early game ganks. We're not really seeing it just yet. I might eat my words though. You do see Lee Sin slowly coming in here into this bot lane. Let's see what exactly he can do. Lee Sin going in for the gank. Does get off a little bit of a slow, as well as the binding hitting in the bot lane. First blood actually going onto the Syndra, which is really, really good. I'm changing to the play-by-play. We're switching it up. There we go. But also in the mid lane, you see the Jarvan. He was kind of sitting on the flanks. I don't think he actually wanted to go in there. He might try and look for a dive or something. But Tristana able to go back to base. Jarvan now just trying to take over this whole entire top side jungle, which is really good. Lee Sin getting off a very successful gank down there in the bot lane as well. But other than that, dragon coming up, at least this first dragon coming up in just a couple of seconds, going to be that mountain dragon, which is very, very useful for both of these teams if they want to try and go for that very soon.
Hey, what's up? I'm back. Sorry, hey. Technical problems, but we're back here. We missed first blood apparently, but this did go the way of lane 0, so not really surprised. They've had the early aggression, and now back to regular farming patterns.
There you go.
Syndra obviously getting that very good.
Yeah, Syndra able to, I was going to say farm up effectively, but then I looked at her CS numbers, and she's kind of 10 CS down, which is kind of unfortunate. but yeah, that's just kind of attested to the Caitlyn's lane presence, right? When you have that extra range, it's really, really good on you. And it's kind of all up to Lee Sin to now come and disrupt that if they really need to.
Yeah, I know we see mages in the bottom lane all the time, but they are not without their disadvantages here, obviously. And that's one of them, as we can see, getting low HP. But Melo actually goes in on a Chuck T, tries to get the trade down, and well, that's Tristana damage for you. So, yeah, flexing his muscles in this mid lane as Zeta29 comes to say, hey, stop bowling my mid laner.
Yeah, so just quickly, so that we can get synced back up, we're at 24, 25, 26, 5, 27.
You're a couple seconds ahead of me.
I know, yeah.
28.
32, 33, 34, 35, 36.
I'm at 43.
We're good.
All right, perfect.
Awesome. Now Mordekaiser going back to base with a decent amount of gold on himself. Ended up purchasing an arm guard, which is perfectly fine for Mordecai to do, obviously, because he wants to try and get some sort of AP here in this early game. When you're facing someone as AD heavy as a Khaled, you want to try and get a little bit of armor with your AD.
Yeah, definitely need to try and stay a little bit safe. This is definitely not quite as one-sided as the Garen into the Kled matchup was previously, so can't play as aggressively as Brodest actually runs out of mana here. Correct isn't going to be able to get the slow off. Get some damage down. Ignite was actually used. Brodast should be able to walk out of this, but the Syndra, no mana, not a threat at all, and now this will be Fred and Corre pushing in.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge bully lane so far coming in for Caitlyn, and I know that now, since the bot lane does have full-on priority around this, Jarvan immediately wants to go for this dragon. It's a huge priority dragon. If they can start to chip down some of these towers, if they can't get any plates, then it's very unfortunate that you can't really use the Mountain Dragon. And sometimes teams will say that Mountain Dragon obviously isn't the best dragon because of that reason, or the best first dragon because of that reason. But, you know, if this team can get onto towers and objectives, would be really good.
Yeah, I was going to say, Baron always on the table, potentially, so Mountain Dragon will be giving you some kind of advantage, but not quite yet if you're not able to get those tower plates going. But so far, Maelstrom has had a much stronger showing. By this point in the game, they were already down 3,000 gold in game 1, and so the fact that they are holding it relatively even at this point is a testament to how their adjusted draft and their adjusted roster is panning out for them.
Exactly, and I was talking about what power spikes are going to be coming through for each of these lanes. It can also be attested to the junglers not really getting around, transitioning from that into kind of items now. You're starting to see the Syndra. She's got the last chapter, so she's going to be doing a whole lot of damage there in the bottom lane if she can get her spears off. What's really good is that Caitlyn, obviously, I've said this so much, is that she has the extended range there in the bottom lane. She's got the BF sword for herself. She's going to be doing so much damage. If Syndra can actually get a stun off, that's when we're going to see a lot of damage go down. But these lanes are very passive. Like, they've been trying to poke each other out and they've been trying to go aggressive, but you're not really seeing all that many kills going back and forth. Like you were saying, it's only a 100 gold lead in this match, so it's very, very close.
Yeah, definitely a far cry from the performance that Take 1-1 had in the previous game. The Lee Sin, not quite as much pressure. Was able to get them first blood, but so far still looking in order to really get his presence known. And Lamelo also having a much harder time of it in the mid lane, as the stun is actually going to land onto the Cinder here. Corre looking for the play, but nothing, trading back.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of poke going back and forth there in the bot lane. Nothing all that much. I do like how we're starting to see the Mordekaiser a little bit more. Don't think we're going to see that many all-ins until anything crazy happens in the bot lane, though. Finding misses.
Yeah, Fred did burn the flash, though, so keeping himself safe, but down that important defensive summoner spell, and now Take 1-1 will force them to bully away further, get some plate gold for his bot lane.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I think that if Lee Sin ended up saving, I don't think he had a ward. He had a control ward. I don't know if he actually wanted to use it, but if he just kind of waited for a stun to come out, or maybe really anything, then he could have landed the Q onto Karma. But in the mid lane, you're starting to see the three-man group.
Yeah, charge comes through. Shockwave is in. Cataclysm is there as well. 3 ultimates burn, but they get the kill. And now Take 1-1. He goes in. He tries to get the kill on Chuck T. He's not dead quite yet. Gets the execute with the ultimate, but Zeta is going to finish that one off. Double kill picked up from Maelstrom's jungler, and they're going to get themselves a tower place for the trouble.
And I do like how Zeta's going a little bit more tanky. I know that a lot of Jarvan players will opt to go for a different build. They'll go Warrior into something like a Black Cleaver. But in this match, he notices that his Kled cannot be the only tank. He's got to have some sort of tank pressure. And it's going to be that Cinderhawk that's going to do it for him. So really, really good stuff coming in from Zeta. Even to capitalize on a mid lane Tristana, interrupting the jump with the Shockwave plus Cataclysm. So an amazing burst damage combo coming in from both of these players. Really good stuff.
Yeah, Maelstrom sort of starting to show Lane Zero exactly what Lane Zero did to them in the first game. We can all remember Take 1-1 sort of diving those mid lane towers with impunity on the Elise, but this is a completely different matchup this time around.
Yes.
Lamelo having some troubles here, and Zeta starting to flex those muscles that were very absent in the previous game.
One of my really good friends says if Lee Sin isn't 3-0 by level 6, then what the heck are you doing? So Lee Sin not really getting around here in this early game all that much. Even by 11 minutes, he's not really doing honestly anything. Like he's gotten around into the ball lane and then obviously in the mid lane from what we've seen. But I think that Lee Sin works a lot better in a team if he's getting off these early game ganks and getting his laners ahead. Obviously, that one little the kill onto Orianna, all that really did is deny a little bit of XP, and even then Tristana was already dead. So Orianna
right here. Lamelo jumps on a Chuck T, but he's bitten off more than he can chew here. Jarvan's actually going to go through. Lamelo barely surviving, but he will go down to the clockwork wind up here. Revnon now looking for the play. Cataclysm on the backside, walks up like Tablet. Revnon now drags the Karma to the Shadow Realm and will take her down, but Kled is in. Take 1-1 is taking way too much damage. Revnon is on though. He's got the bonus stats. Zeta will fall to the Morgana. Now near restoration all by himself. He will have to get dismounted. He is going to avoid that. At the end of the day, a very close fight, 2 for 2.
Yeah, the dismount would have been huge because it means that Kled has to do a lot in order to get back the Skarl. But you can already see Mordekaiser going back to the Rift Herald if they want to take that, as well as Syndra and Mordekaiser. While all of that is going on, though, Caitlyn is in the bot lane just trying to chip away as many turret plates as possible. She isn't ahead in CS. She's kind of even right now with the Syndra, but it's a really nice advantage that she can take for herself and go back to base. She's going back to base with about 960 gold, so she's going to try and get that IE if possible. I don't think she's actually has that much gold just yet, so she's going to try and stay in lane just a little bit longer, but it's still
yeah, definitely not a bad spot to be if you're the Caitlyn, picking up all of that sort of solo tower plate gold, looking to get the scaling here, as the Infernal Drake is started up here for Maelstrom. Huge early game objective, and with take 1-1 on the opposite side of the map, this will be Maelstrom's no contest.
Yeah, they're just going to try and take this Infernal, and they're going to do it very peacefully because they have full-on control of this bot side. The other side of the map, though, the Rift Herald is going to be placed down to try and get this top lane tower. It's got 5 plates right now. That can easily go down to 3 or 2.
Yeah, now Kled was in the mid side, so they are going to be able to get the smash off, but charge is available. Kled's rotating up along with Chuck T. They might be able to try and make the play. Here comes the charge. They're going to be hasting themselves in, but Near Restoration decides not to look for the play, instead just kill off the Herald and prevent first tower from going down.
Orianna was ready. Chuck T was ready to get in there, and Kled kind of called that one off. So you're starting to see how antsy Orianna is starting to get here in this matchup, right? She's kind of had to play this whole entire laning phase a little bit more passive. Did get one opportunity to go aggressive, but other than that, she's just trying to roam around with the Kled whenever possible. But Kled, he's sitting perfectly fine, right? He's slowly building up his Black Cleaver. He has the Tiamat on him, which is really good. And now they're looking for a mid lane push. We'll see if they can get this tower.
Yeah. They are going to have 3 men strong. This tower already low HP. Brodast has rotated down. Trying to get the wave clear through might not be quite enough. No, they're going to have to wait for at least 1 more wave. So this does give lane 0 Inferno an opportunity to get themselves first tower. But in what lane is the problem?
Yeah, Mordekaiser has had a little bit of pressure up here in this top lane. He ended up getting his rallies, which is really, really good for himself. So now he can start to use his passive a lot more effectively. As well, he can start to try and battle out this Kled. This Kled has been roaming a lot in between these lanes. He's kind of been pushing out one lane, trying to roam around his own jungle, and he's been trying to go back up into the top lane. Mordekaiser kind of the exact same thing. It's usually what you do as a top lane. When you do have the TP as well as when you have priority in different lanes.
Yeah, definitely do want to keep looking for the roam, and both of them do have the teleport. Now, this is a good interaction, or reaction, I should say, from lane 0, swapping up their lane assignment, sending the Tristana down to the bottom side, slightly healthier tower to just try and keep that alive, and moving to Syndra with the better wave clear mid in order to keep that critically low tower alive. But here we go, 2 men rotating down towards the bottom lane. Zeta is here with Fred, but the rotation is going to come through from lane 0 in order to keep that towers alive, and really trying to stave off first tower.
Yeah, it would have been fine if Jarvan actually ended up grouping here in this bot lane. If there was obviously no ward, because of that one pink ward in that bush, you saw the Morgana and the Lee Sin slowly walking towards that bot lane, just in case anything crazy happened. But other than that, it's been a very, very slow couple of minutes. We haven't seen too much happen. Kind of want to see a play happen.
Stun lands, your wish is
There we
granted.
go.
Orianna does not die though. Chuck T barely survives the help of that exhaust and the command protect. All of those resources invested are going to be for naught. First tower does fall down the bottom side of the map for Maelstrom. Lane 0 come up empty-handed.
I was going to say that it would have been a little bit more worth if Lane 0 got that mid lane tower plus a kill. But obviously...
Urge coming through. Kled is in and onto Tablas, who will pop to Zanya's. Keep himself alive for a little bit longer. He will flash away now afterwards, but the root is going to come through. Maelstrom keep trying to crush down to this fight, but they might have bitten off more than they could chew here. Trying to chase down. Lamelo is in. They're getting the damage through. Teleport now burned for the Mordekaiser. Near restoration. Gets Buster shotted away. He is trying to get the remount, but he will not succeed at the end of the day. Chuck T takes the kill onto take 1-1. Who does kill Near Restoration. Zeta survives the Shadow Realm, trying to run away. A good flash from Revnon, but he's changed targets, and now Lamelo is caught out. Jarvan takes the kill. Revnon now trying to chase down onto the low health members of Maelstrom. He's looking for the Death's Grasp, but he misses it, and now he's all by himself. Nothing left in the tank. Chuck T takes that one. Maelstrom looked like they were overreaching, but come out on top.
Yeah, a very little, definitely a little bit. You saw the Mordekaiser actually try and 1v3 there at the end of that team fight, and it obviously was not a good idea because Mordekaiser isn't at that point yet where he's super tanky. He just completed his Zanyas, just ended up getting, or already had the Rallies, but even just the Rallies alone is not enough to do it. Most of the time you do need the Leandries before getting super tanky, and he'll eventually get to that point. But other than that, it's just kind of a little bit of a rough fight coming in from lane 0. They weren't in the correct positions, not all of them. There was still stopwatches that were up on the enemy team, so whenever they did try and go in for a play, you just saw the stopwatch go off. So definitely very unfortunate, but still a really good team fight being played by Maelstrom.
Yeah, Maelstrom especially, no fear. That tower is still alive, but Neo Restoration pulls the trigger on the charge. It gets the team to go all the way in with him, and it looked like they overreached, but not quite. But here we go. Brodash is dead immediately.
Wow.
Chuck T does get pulled in, but Revnon is way too low. He can't continue to fight this one out. Did not have the Unbreakable available, so he will fall. And now this is Maelstrom setting up for their second Mountain Drake of the game. There is absolutely nothing that lane 0 can do to stop this.
No, and when you get the first dragon and it's a mountain dragon, you're sometimes hoping for a second mountain dragon to come up, and this is exactly what they're looking for because they've just completely taken control of this match. They know exactly what to do, where to go, and they have just full priority over across at least these two lanes. They haven't gotten that first tower in the top lane, and that's definitely still a huge priority. Looking here in the mid lane, they want to try and get some damage down onto this tower.
Yeah, are able to get it down to around half HP before they're forced to back away, but they're very happy with taking both those couple of kills and the Drake on top of that. And now it's going to be Maelstrom with the gold lead here, 4,000 gold up.
Yeah, about 4,000 up, and it's a really good position to be in. Usually when you kind of have a snowballing lead, this is exactly what the gold lead looks like. And now you have to just play around your priority targets. And what we've been seeing so far, Clegg charge to get these main carries into the backline, but once they get into the backline, you're starting to see the Jarvan and Orianna combo, and it's just super unstoppable. Like, you cannot stop that reign of terror. It's very, very hard to stop.
Yeah, the Jarvan the Fourth obviously has the Kled delivery system, is the ball delivery system. Everyone's delivering somebody, but they're all delivering the damage, and they already make these team fights work. This is going to be a red buff steal away at least for lane 0, so that's something. And with the Baron spawning, all of a sudden this game has some opportunities for lane 0 if they can get a pick and maybe parlay it into the Baron. Caster's Curse. Kure is caught, and Kure is dead. Lane 0, find that pick.
When you're playing versus a team that is just so good, even just both of these teams at that, you have to watch out because a team won't give up. They will look for literally whatever they can in order to come back in this match. And a simple pick like that sometimes is enough to do it. Thank God it wasn't someone like an Orianna with a 500 gold shutdown, and it was just kind of a Karma. But Karma still, it's a little bit of gold.
Get something back, get a little bit of lane pressure, and force Neo Restoration away. There are decent teleports here, so Neo Restoration has his, Revnon does not, so that means the Kled split push is free to go off if he wants to keep staying there on the bottom side.
Yeah, if Kled literally can do whatever he wants to do at this point in the game because he just has so much reign over over the enemy top laner because he's got the charge to get into a fight. He's got the TP if needed. Right, it only takes about 4 seconds to get into the fight itself by channeling the TP, and he can literally 1v1 whoever he wants to. Right, so they're putting up a Syndra as well as a Morgana into this bot lane. The only problem with this is. Mordekaiser.
Found Kure again, who's trapped in the shadow realm. That redemption can't save you there. And now Revenant by himself, but not for long. This is going to be take 1-1 going in, but he's actually dead instantly.
No way.
What looked like a pick is now a double kill for Chuck T. And that's going to be Maelstrom starting up the Baron.
Yeah, and a couple of pings going down to the Baron means they just immediately want to go for it. Tristana, Morgana, as well as Syndra, just nowhere near this Baron. This looks like a completely different team from the first game we ended up watching. They're just not on the same page.
Yeah, Maelstrom have really been able to turn it around and take 1-1. His inability to get jungle pressure in the early stages of the game have given Maelstrom the ability to sort of scale up, get into these solid situations, and now they've got the Baron, they've got that top lane outer tower, and they're just going to keep pushing in.
Yeah, they can do just like the Kled, they can do whatever they want with their lead. They've got the Baron, they don't have to go back to base at all just yet. What's kind of weird is that Caitlyn's building another IE. I've never seen that before, but Jarvan gets picked off, but they don't want to go in for it.
Yeah, get some damage, but maybe don't go in on the guy who's with the Cinder Hulk and the Gargoyle Stone Plate.
Yeah.
Pretty tanky on that, but this will be now the 4-man push. Kled in the mid lane just keeping LaMelo from joining this fight. They will just try to get the minions to shove in, but the Caitlyn does have the pretty good ability to step up and just get the shot, but here comes the charge on a Revnon, but he's pretty tanky as the Mordekaiser. Stoneplate already popped for the Jarvan. He is going to try and survive. The shockwave is huge. Late Tablet's forced to use his on his hourglass early. Neo Restoration all the way under the tower here. He is going to get taken down. Might have gone a little bit too far, but they are going to trade that back with a kill of their own. Yes, Latabalus did go down as well, so that was a 1-for-1 trade. Top laner for support. The push will continue here for Maelstrom.
Yeah, Kled was a huge part of that whole entire push because he is that type of champion to go into a side lane. So I don't know how much Maelstrom can actually get without the Kled, but maybe definitely a dragon. It's coming up in just a couple of seconds. It's going to be an Infernal dragon as well. So it's going to be at least their second Infernal dragon. Also a really nice blue trinket in the bush just to catch out a couple things.
Yeah, in order to see them coming. And the second Infernal, I think, is going to be really big. Revenant actually flashes in. He's going to steal the Mordekaiser away and would take 1-1 coming. They do have the opportunity to maybe go for the steal. Zeta, all by himself, he's going to dash into the back of the pit. The dragon has come all the way out. Shockwave on the side, though, takes so much damage.
Oh my.
Maelstrom gets 2 double kill picked up for Chuck T, and now there's going to be nothing that LaMelo can do. He's trying to solo out the Drake, but he can't do it. Triple kill now for Chuck T. Second Infernal is going to go the way of Maelstrom, and this game's looking more and more over by the second.
Yeah, this Orianna is just absolutely massive. 10, 2, and 6. And has just so much gold. 11k gold on just the Orianna. The normal gold that each of these champions have is around 9k. So this dude's up in gold, and it's absolutely insane just to watch how much damage he does. He's got Ludens, he's got the Oblivion Orb, has Needlessly, has the boots. This dude's just popping off.
And more importantly, he has that second Infernal Drake. If you thought he was doing a lot of damage before, he's going to be doing even more damage now. And Maelstrom not even bothering to reset the map. They're saying, we don't care that you're respawning. We don't care that our health bars are low. We want this tower as well. Really trying to just make sure that there's no possible way Lane Zero can come back.
Yeah, it's looking like this game is basically over, but a 10k goldie is really hard to come back from. I don't really know how else they can come back into this match. If you can somehow catch out the Orianna before the fight starts, that would be really good. But she just went back to base, finished off her death cap, and finished off her Morelos. How much? Wow. That
is a lot of gold on that Orianna.
That's crazy. That's absolutely insane.
But so definitely with the game looking this so one-sided in Maelstrom's favor after Lane Zero smashed them in the previous game here, what adjustments are Lane Zero going to have to make now going into their second draft phase, realizing, wow, we got clapped?
Pan out the Orianna. Just take it off the board. It's just super oppressive. Either that, actually no, I don't think it was the Jarvan. Like I think Jarvan was like a good setup, but Orianna was definitely kind of like the root of the problem here, just because of how much damage she was doing. She played mid lane super passive. It wasn't It wasn't any special play that she ended up doing. She didn't like get super ahead in the lane itself. I think she was like 1, 3, and 4, or something like that. Maybe 1, 2, and 4, something like that. But now she's at that point where she's literally unstoppable. 700 gold shutdown on her, on top of her, 3 complete items. It's crazy.
Yeah, doing a absolute metric ton of damage. So maybe no Orianna in the next game. It was actually banned out by lane 0, if I'm recalling correctly, in game 1. So there is a possibility that that goes back on the ban table in game 2. But meanwhile, lane 0, not out quite yet. They're trying to keep their base defended, but it's just so hard. Once one inhibitor goes down, Jarvan actually goes all the way in. Zayden's trying to get the damage in. Shockwave actually whiffed.
It missed.
It's a possibility here for lane 0 to take the fight. A great kick is going to get a bunch of members here, and the knockback as well. But Fred now goes on the rampage. Mordekaiser did go down near restoration, backing off before he dismounted. Now the push is going to continue onwards, 5 members strong, all at about half HP, though they will return to the bottom lane and try to get the second inhibitor, but the healing has come through for lane 0. They're looking to keep trying to force them out of the base, but the inhibitor will fall. There's nothing that they can do.
Definitely very weird choice of ultimate usage from the Tristana, because she just blasted, I believe it was Caitlyn, from the front line to the back line. They could have easily gotten a couple of carries there, but they just were not able to do it. I guess not enough damage. Maybe Tristana thought her damage was enough, but it obviously wasn't.
Exactly. So not quite finding the fight they want. Maybe getting a little trigger happy, saying, oh, this is an execute, right? Not quite so much. Because if it doesn't kill them, you knock them all the way to the back of the fight, and there's nothing you can do. Baron spawning here shortly. Maelstrom should be able to secure this, and I think this Baron is going to be the last hurrah for lane 0, one way or another. Yeah,
this is kind of what decides if this match is going to be going on for another 8 minutes or not, is if Baron can get stolen. So we'll see how fast these guys ended up taking it.
Yeah, Chuck T is going to take 1-1 from getting anywhere near the Baron pit, so he doesn't really have the opportunity. He's just dead. So that is going to be the Baron going in Maelstrom's way, not respecting the Orianna damage at all, and I don't see any way back for lane 0 Infernal after that point.
Yeah, I don't think he had the ward hop available for himself. Maybe he had 1 control ward, but I'm not too sure. So yeah, just wasn't able to really do anything. That was kind of weird. Jarvan kind of whiffing the EQ. It's all good though. He's allowed to do whatever he wants now. He's just his team is just kind of sitting in such a nice area.
Oh yeah, in fact, they're going to go underneath the tower, force the flash from Brodas. He has the Gargoyle Stone Plate ticking, so he is very, very durable. Revenon trying to trade back some damage. Zeta taking him down to about half HP. Kled as well. Latavlis actually going hard for this play, but everyone walks out. He goes down. Chuck T goes legendary. And this should be it. This is going to be the last stand for lane 0. They're trying to clear minions. They're trying to keep their Nexus alive as the top of lane inhibitor falls down. Towers are going to be dropping. Nexus is going to be exposed, and I think that there's no way that Maelstrom doesn't bring home the game here as they look to pad their KDAs.
Yeah, the EQ flash as well as the Shockwave coming out to finish that fight. 22-10. Maelstrom, they had a very rocky game number 1, but the substitute within Chuck T was actually very effective.
Yeah, Chuck T made this whole team look completely different. All of a sudden, they have a solid mid laner. They're able to sort of hold their own and scale up and end up having a solid team fight composition with that Jarvan, Kled, and Orianna base in order to just give them all of the AoE damage that they needed.
Yeah, that was just absolutely crazy coming out of the Orianna. I'm also looking at the damage charts right now. I don't know if we can actually pull that up on stream, but the normal amount of damage that these carries are doing are around 9k, right? 13k on Mordekaiser, right? It's all that not all that impressive. Look at the Orianna, 29k damage.
That is nuts.
She just absolutely popped off this match.
Yeah, so Orianna banned game 2, right? I mean,
yes.
we saw the Garen the Elites got banned in game 1, of course, because they were problematic champions. So Orianna back on the ban table, maybe. But we'll have to see. Obviously, lane 0 will need to take their comp back to the lab, take a long, hard look at what just happened, as Maelstrom has the momentum as they go into game 3. And speaking of game 3, we will be going into a brief intermission as we set that up. But don't go anywhere. The climax here of lane 0 Inferno versus Maelstrom is coming up. You won't want to miss it. Here, lane 0 had me thinking this is going to be a pretty low. That's what I Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in Champ Select for Game 3 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. The teams have already gotten things underway. Bans taken off the table. Garen, Elise, Shaco, and Zaya, Jarvan, and Jace with the first pick Kled for here for Maelstrom. Hopping right back into it hot.
Yeah, I definitely love all of these bans coming across. The Jarvan, I thought that was going to be replaced with a Orianna, but apparently they thought that Jarvan was the problem. Maelstrom also first picking the Kled, which is really cool. The Darius and the Caitlyn, these guys are just going in this pick phase.
Yeah, Lane 0. Now, the Darius has been banned in all 3 games against Lane 0, so now that they finally have Revnon on the Darius, he actually does play a decent chunk of Darius in solo queue, so a champion he is known for, and now he's being allowed to play it, as Maelstrom will respond. They finally get Gragas for Zeta, and Morgana picked away for the bot lane.
Yeah, Morgana was initially played on Lane 0, I believe with the Caitlyn, I think. So that's going to be in Maelstrom's hands now. Also, the Caitlyn going over to Lane 0, which is really, really good. I do love Caitlyn in the bot lane. This is kind of the norm that we see. What we know so far is also the Darius Kled matchup from what we see out of that, which is really, really cool. Also, Karma has the last pick.
Now, Lane 0 taking away the Karma Caitlyn lane this time around. They get to have fun with all of that poke. Maelstrom sitting on the Morgana. Here's the Orianna ban that we were talking about. Finally gets taken away. Maelstrom decided they really value that Kled.
Exactly, and I think that Kled really fits into what Maelstrom love to do. They're kind of like an all-in or nothing type of team, and it honestly works for them most of the time. You have the Kled, you got the Gragas, and they can both just kind of run into a team if needed. And I'm really excited to see what their last 2 picks are. I don't think that the Sivir works. What I do think works actually for this team is the Ashe. And I know that we've seen a little bit of Ashe actually in Worlds itself. Also, the Yasuo getting banned. I like that. I predicted that in game number 1, that one team might pick it up. But the Ashe, I think that it does really well into the mid to late game. If they kind of just want to sacrifice bot lane like they've been doing so far, they can just pick a very passive style bot lane.
Yeah, certainly would work with the Morgana as well. So I would like that pick if they choose to go for it. But Lane 0, they are going to be on the pick here out of the second ban phase, and they go for the Nocturne in the jungle.
That's cool. Yeah, usually sometimes you'll pick the Nocturne with something like a TF, and you can play like a global comp, which would be very scary because you're like, where's TF ulting? I have no idea. Nocturne just ulted. So it's kind of a nice little spook if you want to put that together. Also, TF did get he ended up getting buffed, and we've seen a little bit at Worlds. If you can't tell, I've been watching a lot of Worlds. So
not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. There we go, baby. That's the prediction. Let's go.
Hey, you call it. The Ashe is going to be locked in here and looking for a mid laner now. As you said, TF is available if they do want to take that away, as well as the Syndra, which we have seen as a priority pick so far. Tristana did not have a great showing the last game. I'd be surprised if Maelstrom decided to go for it, but the LeBlanc instead is what they want to go for.
Yeah, LeBlanc definitely very, very strong as a mid lane solo mage. Is definitely able to basically lane bully whoever she wants to lane bully. Let's see what Lane 0 end up picking here, because there's just so many options that he can pick for himself. But LeBlanc can actually fit pretty well into this team. I like it.
Yeah, it does give them a lot of damage and the run of mid lane as the Morgana is taken away. The Lissandra is going to be the answer for Lane 0 here to that LeBlanc.
Yeah, the Lissandra, I believe she's getting buffed next patch. Don't think she actually got buffed this patch. But yeah, Lissandra being played just a little bit more recently just because of I guess it's just kind of like the other mid lane champions are starting to get nerfed. So Lissandra is slowly making her way back into the meta. She's got a lot of AoE, single target damage, as well as she can hold her own in the mid lane.
Yeah, and actually it was on this patch she did get the buff to the scalings on, I believe it was her R and her ultimate, or R and passive. So is going to be doing a little bit more damage than she used to. Maybe not quite as durable after all of the nerfs to Aftershock, but is still going to be solid if the LeBlanc does try to dash in. You can obviously just press W, root her in place, get some damage back on your own. So not a bad pick here for Lamelo to try and deal with some of the pressure that Chuck T's been bringing mid.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really cool to see the matchup actually go down. The Lissandra versus LeBlanc matchup is obviously a little bit harder for LeBlanc to kind of do anything because LeBlanc loves to burst down her enemies, but Lissandra's actually kind of tanky in the mid lane. I don't know if she's going to be taking the aftershock, but she definitely has that option if she really wants to. If Lay Mello wants to go for that one. Also, Lay Mello coming back into. Just kidding. I thought Lay Mello. Never mind. They switched sides. I'm tired. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's been a long set. And remember when we watched game 1 with how hard Lane 0 Inferno won, I wasn't expecting a game 3. I don't think you were expecting a game 3 save.
No.
So the fact that we're here now is a huge boon for Maelstrom, being able to say, yeah, we can lose game 1 in that hard of a fashion and still come all the way back.
Yeah, I think it's just having to do with synergies, and I think that the jungle mid synergy, at least in a meta like this one, is super oppressive to face against. If your jungle mid synergy is on point, and what we've clearly seen is Zeta and Chuck T come together as a unit and really apply a lot of pressure, it could be really good for you guys too.
Yeah, and they have the ability to do it again in this game. The LeBlanc, obviously, lots of early game pressure. Gragas as well, and I can picture these two roaming around the map already as sort of a two-man gank squad, bringing the pain wherever they want on the Rift. But real quick, I do want to talk a little bit about the top lane matchup. Neo Restoration back on his favored Kled, Revenant on the Darius this time.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome matchup to watch because both of these top laners love to be hyper-aggressive, and when you see champions like Darius, I think that they're noob killers. It's the same thing with Yasuo, it's the same thing with Riven and Alawi. Darius, if you auto-attack battle him level 1, he's going to build up his passive stacks and he's going to kill you. That's just kind of what I see out of most Dariuses nowadays. Kind of the same thing with Kled. Kled is very... You have a lot of unexpected damage as Kled. You have a lot of all-in, and you also have a lot of early game damage. You also have a level 6 that's just super crazy. So this top lane matchup is going to be the battle of the noob killers, and it's going to be really good.
Yeah, and important to note here as well, Kled does have the Grievous Wounds on the pullback, so if he's able to get the Q Grievous Wounds on the Darius suddenly isn't healing off of his Q, he's not healing from Conqueror. Potential for Neo Restoration to run this lane over, but there's a reason it's been banned every single game against Revenant, obviously a skilled Darius player, so really excited to see how this one is going to work out. We are going to be hopping into game very quickly, but first we will be taking a brief intermission to wait for the delay. But before we go, we want to give a quick plug for our sponsor, Sector 6. Sector 6 Apparel is a leading esports apparel company providing on-demand printing for groups of all sizes. Sector 6 Apparel designs comfortable and stylish for professional esports organizations and collegiate programs, as well as your very own Upsurge esports. If you want premium esports clothing and would like to support us at the same time, head over to Sector 6 Apparel at sector6apparel.com/collections/upsurge-esports. Check out Sector 6 today and rep Upsurge esports or your favorite team in style today. We'll be hopping into that intermission, but when we come back, we'll have game 3 of Maelstrom versus Lane 0 Inferno. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 3 between Maelstrom and Lane Zero Inferno. Both of these teams have stomped each other in back-to-back games, but here we are, Game 3. Only one more stomp can possibly take place, and both these teams want to get it.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be seeing a fast game. Usually when it's a Game 3, both of these teams, they both love to go very aggressive versus each other. And sometimes when you do that, it could be kill for either or team. So we're gonna have to see that. Looks like there's gonna be an invade though.
Yeah, both these teams really 5-man stacking, looking for each other.
Right.
I know you're saying they were gonna play a long game, but they're both looking for a scrap here in Game 3.
Yeah.
No nerves, even though Lane Zero lost very hard. They have the momentum against them, but they're still looking for a fight.
Yeah, and I think that's what Lane Zero was going for in Game 2, is that they got kind of overconfident. And you kind of saw that, right at the start of the match. We were saying, they don't have anything to lose. But now all of a sudden we're in Game 3, and it's like, yeah, they kind of have something to lose now. They kind of have the whole set. It's a difference between them going 3-0 or 2-1. So.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to give that up if you're Lane Zero. Not after you had such a solid 2-week start to the season, but not really in your hands now. You'll have to get the outplay. LaMelo, though, interesting to note, did go with the Aftershock. I know we were talking about maybe not, but did choose to go for that.
Ooh.
And the cheese here. Get some damage already.
Yeah, I definitely love the build over Peacemaker over the wall, hitting 2 members. That's definitely huge. We were talking a little bit in loading screen about this Ashe pick. How excited I am to watch this, because I've seen a lot of Ashe picks over the past couple of days, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen. Also, Darius taking Halo Blades in the top lane. Definitely something that's very huge once he reaches that level 2 power spike. Whoa.
Yeah, looking to try and make something happen, but doesn't have it available at the moment, actually. Kind of used it and lost it. Latabolus actually ton of damage down into Fred. Heal forced out in order to stave off the inevitable. Oh my goodness, but they might get it anyways. No, Fred able to walk out. Exhaust, though, burned heal as well. And no summoners, meanwhile, on the side of Lane Zero. So able to take that trade. Huge, and that was all thanks to that level 1 play.
Exactly. And the karma, I've actually never seen that aggressive of a karma before, where you're just going full on all in, which is really good to see out of this duo. Caitlyn kind of asserting her dominance already here in this lane. Fred not having to flash, which is good for himself, but you're looking at the CS numbers and just the tower plates that are going down, and that's a lot of gold already in the pocket of Caitlyn.
Yeah, Brodast and Latabolus, they haven't really come online, I think, for the most part in these games, but they're looking for it now. Revnon actually getting the pullback. Noxian Might is proc. Neo Restoration very low. Maybe looking for the burn down. He flashes in, but the remount baits him, and Neo Restoration takes home first blood. Oh my goodness.
I was talking about noob killers, and that's the exact reason as to why. Because sometimes when he doesn't have his Scarl, that's what some top laners will do. They'll try and flash in, or they'll try and go for something that's a little bit too far out of their reach, and that's exactly what happens. He gets his Scarl back. All of a sudden, he gets like 3 more autos of health left, and he's not 1 auto away anymore. In the bot lane, though, can find it up.
Damage getting traded back. Take one.
Whoa.
Is here, but looks like he will just be forced to walk away. They kind of return to the Kled point, though. I like to call it Kledding when that happens.
Yeah.
LaMelo actually is able to take the claw, dashes away here, but takes the early kill here. They've both reset, they've both used the teleport, but Kled is the one sitting on the gold here. Zeta plays a visit mid lane, gets nothing but a shove it.
Whoa, this is very weird.
Oh, flash in! LaMelo actually goes for the play here. The dash is out for Chuck T, and now they're on to Zeta 29.
Wow.
He's not slowed down by the Ice Shard, will take a bunch of damage, but he gets out. So low health bars often in this game.
Yeah, Chuck T forcing the flash. I said it was going to be a very scrappy game, and that's exactly what we're starting to see already. Both of these junglers, even though Nocturne isn't really an early game jungler, he's making him into an early game jungler. A lot of counter ganks that are coming out. In the top lane, though, Kled.
Yeah, Noxian Might was procced, and Revnon smartly backs away this time. Yeah. He doesn't want to get Kledded a second time in a row, so... But Neo Restoration does have to use the W on the minion wave, a little bit more vulnerable once that's used. but still maintaining the pressure. And the bot lane keeps going well for Brodas and Tablis as they poke down a second tower plate.
I'm starting to see like how useful Halo Blades is on Darius, just because of obviously the mini combo that he does. We were talking about that in the loading screen. A couple of autos, a W and an E if you really want to throw that in there. A little bit of healing with your Q, and it adds in for a really nice Darius combo. And we're starting to see the amount of damage it's really starting to output. But what we see so far in the top lane is Kled, he's got the 2 longswords, so he's obviously out damaging in some of these trades, or at least keeping up with the damage. In the top lane, though,
Near Restoration gets the remount, and just as the gank comes through, he tries to turn and take 1-1, but he is feared away, trying to turn back. The Revnon is not level 6 yet, so he doesn't have access to the Noxian Might. Near Restoration, though, forced to walk away, might look for the shotgun over the wall, and he will get that, is forced to walk away. But that was a 2v1 scenario, can't be too upset. But now the root is in, Brodas taking the damage, he is going to get away. Kure forced to flash as well, in order to get himself to safety. Tablis trying to get the root down, it is there, but Brodas too far away. The trap is not quite in time, and the root is going to land on the backside. His feet are burning, Tablis is forced to flash away. Brodas gets exhaust. At the end of the day, they both walk away with little health bars. As here we go, mid. Mello takes some damage. He's forced to walk away, but Zeta is there, and Zeta says, thank you for the kill. I'll take that one. Maelstrom pulling out on top.
And it's not even that bad that Gragas gets the kill in the mid lane. It allows LeBlanc just to shove in this lane, give herself some solo XP, even get her her minion score up. You can see it there in the mid lane, how much CS she has over this Lissandra. It's really, really good. And I love how LeBlanc's getting to that point where it doesn't even matter that Lissandra has her stun available for herself. As long as LeBlanc lands the chain, she's perfectly fine with taking that trade. An absolutely beautiful kill, or even an assist going down to LeBlanc, and Gragas getting himself a little bit of a snowballing lead.
Yeah, not too bad. And we talked about this in the previous game, the synergy between jungler and mid laner and how impressive it can be. And, well, that's Zeta's second visit to the mid laner. Here we go, top side. The Paranoia is going to come through, but now Darius away. Revnon, though, takes the kill on Zeta. He is turned on. The Darius has the damage, and the Darius has the dunks. Double kill picked up here for Revnon in the counter gank play.
Yeah, really, really nice kills going down onto this Darius, because Darius coming back from lane with a phage definitely needs to see some blood, or even in this game, in this early game, he needs to just try and find something. And I think that was his snowballing lead. 2 quick kills going down onto him. Nocturne with an amazing counter gank. He's been honestly perfectly following the Gragas throughout this whole entire thing.
Mello taken low here. Chuck T trying to poke him down, not backing away quite yet. Ooh.
Nice little trade going down there into the mid lane. We're starting to see a little bit of scrappiness come from both of these mid laners. They both have a decent amount of AP onto themselves, so it's kind of weird that like LeBlanc, she had the CS lead throughout this match, but I guess just the TP coming in from Mello was really good, just allowing herself to keep up in the CS game.
Yeah, huge reason why you take that, but not quite as much kill threat. And, well,
yeah,
Chuck T has an assist, Lissandra has a death, so did get it generated an advantage for him with a summoner spell choice in that regard. Now this is going to be the Ocean Drake started up. Is spotted with a hawk shot, so might be a play. No, Zeta is not anywhere nearby, so this is going to be the early Drake secured here for lane 0 Inferno, and that is huge to have at 8 minutes into the game.
Oh yeah, when you have an Ocean Dragon within this comp, it's definitely something that you want to see come out. The Darius definitely needs something like that. The Nocturne within his rotations, if he ends up ganking one lane and then still wants to stay in the jungle, a little bit of healing coming from that. I always love to see what the next dragon is. It's going to be another Ocean Dragon as well. So in about 4 minutes, that's going to spawn. And I think that lane Inferno is really happy to see that.
Yeah, lane 0 Inferno, they do still have a sizable advantage in this game. The Darius, obviously, like you said, coming back into the game. The Caitlyn, very well farming up, shoving in yet another tower on top of the tower plating that they've already gotten. And this is looking pretty well for lane 0 Inferno, starting to bring back that early game advantage that they had in game 1.
Yeah, lane 0. Like in game 1, they ended up getting a snowballing lead because of their jungler, and they couldn't really do anything with the Lee Sin, as weird as it is to say, because Lee Sin is usually an early game jungler. But now here in this one, I feel like Nocturne kind of fits Take One's play style a little bit better, right? You're allowed to farm up, you're allowed to counter gank, you know exactly where the enemy jungler is, and that alone allows you to get off some really, really nice ganks. So that's really nice to see. Ooh, that's a lot of poke.
Yeah, Fred and Kure both taken low. Fred no potions as well, so gonna have to just try and catch this wave as it hits the tower. But like you said, definitely the Nocturne really, I think, is helping take 1-1's playstyle a little bit more. He doesn't have to be ganking 24/7. Anytime you're spending CSing is totally fine.
The mid lane.
Mellow gets a cheeky little bit of a trade. Chuck T missing the distortion on the backside here, and now actually take 1-1 just walking straight to one side of the map. Here comes the arrow, here comes the Gragas, and the damage is knocking them back. Wombo combos all over the place. Latabalus goes down, Kure picks that one up. Fred has a kill for himself. Maelstrom striking back.
Oh, in the bot lane.
Paranoia. Take 1-1 is in the spell shield. Will keep him and allow him to get the kill on a Fred. He's thinking about trying to trade back on a Zeta, but he doesn't have that much else he can do. No smite available. The Umbra Blades almost kept him alive there for the second kill, but can't quite get it at the end of the day. And now top lane, Revnon.
Oh.
The Noxian Guillotine. No, just proccing the passive and will get the push in.
One more auto attack as well as Kled being in range of the ultimate probably would have done it there at that point, but a really nice gank in the bot lane coming in from Nocturne onto the Ashe, and I'm starting to see why you ban out the Gragas versus Zeta. That was the cleanest Gragas combo I've seen in a while.
Yeah, no, very nicely done. And I know we were talking about Sejuani, how there's always a period of time where Sejuani is meta, and it feels like Gragas is never far behind her for this reason. He's very durable, he does lots of damage, and he just has a lot of early game pressure. So definitely good to see Zeta finally on that pick. And Revnon, he got his personal pick, but hasn't had as much of an impact so far.
Yeah, he's got the 2 kills, and that was mainly because Maelstrom, they made the mistake. They were the ones that initially ended up ganking the top lane, and Nocturne just so happened to be there, and Darius is just the king of the 2v1 play if he is ahead. So he was just able to easily take both kills and on that front. But ever since then, like you were saying, he just hasn't been really able to find anything else. Same thing for Kled. Kled's kind of just been sitting in this state of limbo where he's like, yeah, I can kind of fight, but then I also kind of can't. Gragas in the bot lane once again.
Here we go. Kure looking for the binding, forces the flash. Predator was used, so they knew that Gragas was on the way. Summoner spell gained.
Yeah. When you take the Predator, that's one of your disadvantages. Oh, Ashe Arrow.
Arrow actually comes through. It is going to land on the Karma, but no one is nearby to capitalize. Ultimate use, but you're still happy with the summoner spell you got earlier.
Exactly, right? And I don't think Fred's been really using the Ashe Arrow all that much in this lane. So just to trade the Ashe Arrow itself for a flash is really, really good. The Ashe Arrow, it's only on a 90-second cooldown, and it's only rank 1. So it's going to be coming up in just a minute. So he's fine.
Oh, yeah. No problems there. And returning to the farming game, as we hit 13 minutes on the clock, tower plating will be falling before too long, and gold bang on even. As the Herald actually does fall towards the top side, take 1-1 might be looking for...
What?
Oh my goodness! Got the shot through with the Caitlyn ultimate. I honestly didn't even expect it. I'm thinking, there's nothing going on in the bottom lane. What's there to look at? Well, that was a kill to look at.
Yeah, you saw that one. But LeBlanc actually coming in from the flanks.
Yeah, here we go, flashing in, looking for Latabalus, but fancy feet on the Karma. Can't keep him alive, though. Teleport actually channeled for the Lissandra in the bottom lane. Not quite sure why. Looking for Chuck T, but won't be able to find it quite yet unless he wants to flash. Herald was summoned to the top side. This should be a dead tower. Neo Restoration does not want to take this fight. He doesn't even want to be in the vicinity, as that tower will go down, and all of that plating is going to get eaten up by lane 0 Inferno.
I love how the prediction before this game was absolutely correct, that this is going to be a very scrappy game, and it's going to be both sides are going to love to look for kills. You see a Rift Herald in the top lane. There's a couple of ganks there in the bot lane. There was the TP as well in the bot lane. The Ocean Dragon just came up, and both of these teams want it. It's a huge priority. Lane Inferno, they want it for themselves in order to get some more healing, but Maelstrom, they just want it just to try and deny it. So it's going to be, I think, a big fight in just a couple of, maybe a minute or so, but there's just so much scrapping going on all across this map.
Yeah, usually you see in these game threes, like we're talking about, very slow. Oh, hold
Kled.
that thought. Kled coming in, lane Mellow all by himself. I don't think there's anything he can do here. He's going to use the ultimate to stall for a little bit of time, but there are 4 members right there, and this should be an easy pick. As that Drake is spawning, Chuck T will be able to finish that one off, and this should be Maelstrom's Drake. Yeah,
it should be, but Nocturne still has the ultimate available if they want to go in that one. Oh, Karma.
Latabalus He steals that one away. Didn't expect that. That makes them think twice about doing the Drake.
That's kind of weird, is that it just takes a very simple crab in order to back a team off from taking the dragon. But Darius
found Kuro, and Kure is dead. That hail of blades, all the power of it right there. Easily able to take it. Now take 1-1, takes the Drake. Double Ocean Drake now for lane 0 Inferno, and we were thinking this was a shoe-in for Maelstrom's Drake.
Yeah, I love the commentary that you said on that one. Darius found the Morgana, now Morgana is dead. That's as simple as it can get.
Sounds like my solo queue games.
There you go. An immediate push onto this bot lane tower is just gonna allow to net lane 0 just that much more gold. I don't know if they want to keep going for this one.
Zeta is pretty low here, so not quite gonna go. They are gonna get the extra wave shoved in here. Lane Mellow is going to be forced to take the claw out. Chuck T. Both these mid laners, actually, we were expecting this lane to be just completely Chuck T favored, but Lane Mellow really being able to do well for himself on that Lissandra.
Yeah, way back when Lissandra was meta, you would usually pick it into something like LeBlanc, and it was just very tanky. Like, you just could not deal damage to the Lissandra. Now, you can do, obviously, a little bit more. Lissandra also building the Luden's Echo. I don't know if that's standard. I don't even have to look that up. But yeah, a little bit more damage for her.
Yeah, usually it's the meta in a little bit more of a poke-centered build, usually with Arcane Comet, but Lane Mello is saying, I don't need durability, I just want damage, give me that Ludens. So
exactly.
He's going to pick that up for himself as both these teams kind of back away. Outer towers are down here for Maelstrom, though, so maybe a little bit further behind than they were in previous games.
Yeah, and I think now it's going to completely shift into more of a game where it's all about grouping as a team, at least. Oh, hold on.
Speaking of grouping, Tablos takes the damage, he takes the heal, but it doesn't matter. Cleanse was actually used, but Brodas, you don't have heal, you can't save your bot laner. He does go down. Now the Kled is going in. Lamello is going to be the target here. Arrow's going to land on the Darius. Lamello forced to use his ultimate defensively. Darius is still stunned up. Darius is looking for the play. Gragas is in, but he might have bitten off more than he can shoot. The Soul Shackle's not going to quite connect. No kills have popped through yet. Flashes are in. This is going to be Brodas taking the kill. Neo Restoration gets the rebound just in time to avoid the Noxian Guillotine. He's back in. He takes a triple kill on the Kled. Neo Restoration fleds his way to victory here, and this is going to be the push in now for Maelstrom.
The whole entire Maelstrom comp, they just have not been good at blocking Caitlyn ultimates. That's just so unfortunate. Gragas trying to get into the backline. Someone please tank this for me. Everyone moves out of the way. Gragas ends up falling. Very unfortunate, but Kled just absolutely popping off. You said he bit off a little bit more he could chew, but Kled's like, no, I'm completely fine. Ends up getting a triple kill for himself. Really good by the end of that team fight. Darius, what's kind of surprising me is that he's not popping off. He's not getting to that point that we know that Darius is, where he gets his passive onto 5 members. He's not at that point yet. He's not that tanky, and he cannot get into a team, which is really unfortunate as well. Caitlyn, though, she's slowly building herself up to be that Caitlyn, but this is why I said that Ashe is so good, is because you can completely just get dumpstered in lane, and she didn't get dumpstered, but you can fall behind at least, or even go even in the lane and still be very, very useful with your ultimate, and we ended up seeing that right there.
Yeah, the utility carry definitely coming through. Don't have to be ahead, but it's nice because you always have a very strong initiation, scouting, slows, plenty you can do on that pick. I know you were super excited to see it, and that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
And so far, Fred, 2-1-4, not behind at all, so he can bring the deeps as well.
Exactly. So now, like you said, he can start acting a little bit more aggressive. Caitlyn's still in that same position where she's completely fine with how she's doing. Doing a whole lot of damage on that champion. I want to see a little bit more come out from Lissandra because we haven't seen it all too much. The amount of damage it can do if you pull Lissandra maybe into a jungle and try and fight, or around a dragon and try and fight, because those AoE ultimates are really going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely want to try and find the Lissandra doing a little bit more. Has been forced to ult herself more often than not in these fights just to stay alive for a moment longer. So the pick has not worked out the way Lamello has wanted it to thus far, but still a long game to go. Still some opportunities to maybe find a chance. But I think the biggest thing we can highlight here is how exactly is it, how does lane 0 Infernal start a fight?
It's going to have to be through, hold on, sorry. It's going to be through some sort of way, but We're gonna have to see. At least it's gonna be through some sort of an objective as well, maybe through a pick, because Dragon's coming up in just a couple of seconds. It's gonna be a massive objective if they can go for that one. The Nocturne is a huge priority if they want to try and dive that in there. They've got a lot of follow-up as well. Like you have the Lysandra that's able to get into the fight with the Nocturne, and Caitlyn, she has the range, and we've seen it have the range throughout a lot of these fights. I don't know if they're gonna try and go for this here.
Here we go. Claw goes in, but not taken. Darius gets the pull back onto Kure, trying to get the kill down. He will dunk. He is turned on. The Drake is going to fall, but Rednon, he has the passive ticking. He has the ability to do the damage, get the executes down. They keep trying to fight. The flash is away. Lamelo tries to go in, but he goes down. Frozen 2 was available. Rednon gets the second kill. Rednon looking for the third kill, but Neo Restoration can't be killed while he's got Scarl and forces the Darius to go down. 3 for 2 and the Drake in favor of Maelstrom.
And I think it's unfortunate that Caitlyn wasn't able to get into the fight, which is super weird. The Caitlyn and the Carmen, by the end of that fight, they were both on full HP. And I think the only disadvantage is that Caitlyn was on half mana. So maybe they were just really afraid of LeBlanc getting into the backline, or they were just way too afraid of the slow coming out from Ashe. But I feel like they had the range to do just a little bit more in that fight. I think going into these next couple of fights, Brodass just needs to be a little bit more aggressive. And if not, it might be the downfall of this team.
Yeah, weren't able to quite find it, but it can be difficult when the LeBlanc is there.
Yeah.
Just kind of able to say, nah, you don't get to play your game.
Exactly.
I'll one-shot you from full. So, you know, can be difficult, but not able to find it quite yet. And the Drake going over, though, the Mountain Drake, as we've talked about, maybe not so important now that tower plating is gone, but with Baron on the table, it does give them a pretty huge advantage if they decide they want to go for that objective.
Yeah, Baron's absolutely massive, and we already see that lane 0 Inferno, they've got full-on control of that pit so far. They've got 3 pinks around it. They've got 1 little ward that's about to be cleared as well. So they've just absolutely taken over this area if they need to literally do anything. And I think it's at that point where they can because of the comp that they've drafted, right? They've got the Nocturne for the engage. They have the Darius. If Darius ends up getting in there and times all of his abilities correctly, the one thing that we actually saw there is that he ended up queuing Gragas at the wrong time. And I think that if he ended up doing it correctly, he could have survived a little bit longer than he did. He would have been able to get a little bit of health back, but it's kind of unfortunate. Zeta ended up using the Zhonya's there. So Darius was not able to get anything off of there in that team fight. But just like that, the Barons just converted from the red side to the blue side. They've got wards all over this pit.
Yeah, gotta get that vision down. As here we go with the good old-fashioned Baron dance. Both teams trying to make sure that the other team won't be able to sneak the Baron. Both top laners sitting on the teleport as well, which is why they're both bottom lane. Oh my goodness, I blinked and I missed it. What happened?
I didn't even have time to react. It's just like, what just happened?
Latabilis is dead, and the Baron is started up now for Maelstrom. Oh,
wow.
Frozen Tomb used, but Chuck T actually got back over the wall with the dash. Oh my goodness, very well timed, and now here comes the charge. The Kled wants to fight. They don't want the Baron. Trying to dash through, look for somebody else, but Neo Restoration ends up right on top of a trap. Lamelo is the target. Here comes the Paranoia on the backside, trying to trade back around, but he forced flash away immediately. Darius does not get the ultimate execute. He falls down. Lysandra's back in, but Lysandra has not enough. Zhonya's is going to be popped for Neo Restoration to keep him alive as Brodash is forced to run for his life. He's on the wrong side of the map, though. Zeta looking for him. Zeta actually going down. A double kill picked up for Brodash, but that still means that they're on the losing end of the fight. Maelstrom picking that up 3-2.
One thing that's actually really interesting throughout these past couple of fights is that Brodash has been able to stay alive and actually go positive in a lot of them as well. Like I think he was just like 2-1 at the start of that team fight. Now all of a sudden he nets himself 2 quick kills and he's all the way back up. He's got he has RFC, he's got the IE slowly building towards the Essence Reaver. So this Caitlyn slowly starting to scale, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because her whole entire front line just gets bursted at the start of the fight. The Nocturne tried to get in there, wasn't able to do really anything. The Darius trying to do Darius things, try and spin, try and get the passive stacks up. But the one main target that he's been looking at, who's the Morgana, finally ended up building her Zhonya's. So whenever Darius tries to really go for anything, you just see the Zhonya's in the middle of the team fight, and Darius just gets absolutely chunked. So yeah, I don't know. Both of these teams, they've got advantages, but so far Maelstrom's just been coming out on top.
Yeah, Maelstrom able to find the fights, and I think the lack of a front line here for lane 0 Inferno has been part of their problem. The Darius is really the only durable member of the team, and there's only so long he can survive. As you said, he survives usually by killing enemies, and you can't do that when everyone's got his on his hourglass. So
exactly.
Revnon will keep trying to go for this. He is still 5-4, so not ignorable for certain.
There's the charge.
Actually, he gets stunned up. Here comes the Kled ultimate. The Gragas Barrel is actually going to knock the Caitlyn to safety here. Neo Restoration to the backside, trying to zone things off. Revnon all by himself. He gets a big heal. He looks for the ultimate, but not able to quite find it. But now here comes Take 1-1 on the backside. He is going to be able to take the kill, trading 1-for-1 here on this fight. Both teams, though, will have to back away with that.
Yeah, it's ADC for top laner, and sometimes you just have to suicide your top laner. You have to trade your top laner. For a play like that, Lissandra was about to go in.
Oh, Flash is actually going to go in from Kuro. They get the kill. Chuck T goes godlike. Neo Restoration now trying to chase down onto Take 1-1. He does get the pullback, but he is feared and forced to run away here. But the dragon is there. Here comes the Caitlyn ult. Body block this time around. And this should be Maelstrom's Drake. So 2 Mountain Drakes, 2 Ocean Drakes, and I think Maelstrom is getting the better of this deal.
Yeah, I think that if your whole entire team was tank, like if you had a tank jungler and a tank top laner, maybe, and your mid laner was ahead, then definitely Ocean Dragon is a little, arguably a little bit better. 2 Mountain Dragons, though, definitely helps at 26 minutes. When you're looking at towers, you're looking at your Baron, you're looking at all of these different options. Nocturne actually getting into the pit here. That was a little bit scary. I don't know if... don't think Maelstrom were actually in position to collapse on that, but if they were, that would have been really scary.
It could have been, but Take 1-1 knows no fear. He will secure the crab for himself, so they'll always have some vision of the Baron pit. And lane 0 Inferno have been, even when they've had opportunities, they have not been able to convert those man advantages into any objectives. They've been stalled out here. After those first 2 towers went down, they've installed this mid lane tower for probably the better part of 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah, they are definitely in the position to just absolutely go insane literally whenever they want to. They've got advantages all over this team that have just really helped them out. But you can see the amount of pings that are being pinged down onto the red side jungle. I don't know if they want to try and go for a pick here.
Yeah, Maelstrom looking around. The claw not going to be taken by the Lissandra quite yet, so vision will be cleaned out. The Baron dance goes on, and this time Maelstrom is leading the dance to get the vision down. And this is really going to be both these teams. They want to go for something near restoration. Joust in. He takes a bit of damage. The arrow actually comes through, but a good karma Ultra Q will prevent the re-engage.
Yeah, I was going to say that someone's got to block that, because I don't think that Morgana can actually go back to base at this point. So if she ended up taking that Caitlyn ultimate, then it would have not been good. She would have been at like a quarter HP, but she still has to go back to base regardless. This is a huge Baron dance. It's literally whatever team can get the favorable trade is going to take the Baron at this point.
Yeah, definitely looking forward. And important to note here as well, teleport advantage is in favor of Maelstrom. Neo Restoration still has his, and nobody on the side of lane 0 Inferno has theirs, so he can split push freely. He was able to take that tower in the bottom side of the map earlier in the game, so he can sort of get the lane pressure going. The rest of his team can help set up for the Baron, and lane 0 Inferno have yet to find the pick that they so desperately need.
Yeah, and I think that Kled was he just needed to go into one of these side lanes and really start the split push. Maelstrom have kind of not allowed Kled to do that, because Kled's kind of all their engage. It's like, yeah, Ash arrow, but we cannot wait 4 seconds for you to come back up and then charge into a team. We have to arrow and then immediately Kled ult, or maybe even Kled ult to start the fight. So we need you with us, which is why they're trying to favor this so much. Darius!
Oh, Revnon actually gets cleared up. He burns the cleanse almost immediately. Take 1-1 goes on the backside. He's taking a lot of damage here, but not able to find the frag. There it is onto Fred, and now Lissandra has the passive ticking. He gets knocked in, though, all by himself. Uses on his hourglass stalls for a little bit longer, but looks like he will go down. Neo Restoration is running forward despite being dismounted. He knows no fear, but this will be the LeBlanc killed as well, and Neo Restoration realizes he has to back away. Looking at late Tablis as finally lane 0 Inferno have an opportunity to push.
Yeah, and now nobody can take the Baron, because it was not an even trade, but no one has a possibility. But
Brodas, so much damage just from the Gragas tapping him. But looks like we'll be able to sustain himself up a little bit with that fleet footwork. Vision control is established on the Baron. Neo Restoration still dismounted, still looking for something. He is going to get Scarl back. And the Baron is here for lane 0 Inferno.
I'm eating my words every single time I give an opinionated answer. They cannot go for the Baron. What are they thinking? And they immediately go for Baron. Darius tanking this one up with Caitlyn in her extended range. They'll get low, though. They're going to back off.
Yeah, Zeta is still there, and they don't want to force a smite fight here, especially not when Neo Restoration is still hanging around. He's going to be spotted by the Hawk Shot. Red Non is going to be the subject of aggression here, as here they go on the backside. Neo Restoration takes the kill on the Darius. They now take 1-1, trying to trade back on the Morgana. Can't quite find the kill yet, but the trap is going to allow Brodas to take the kill. Now Neo Restoration. There's a red buff on the Caitlyn. There's no way Kled can run away from this. He manages to dodge on the tilt over Peacemaker. The shot is blocked from Zeta 29, and I'm eating my words this time. Kled gets out after that trade goes through. Top laner for support.
Yeah, and Kled was supposed to go down there. And I think that a lot of teams actually look at a GA to member and say, now we cannot kill this guy. If you just blow GA, that item is completely, I don't want to say completely useless, but it's basically useless. At least the main purpose of that item is useless. So if you can get it, if you can pop it, then that'll be really good for you guys. But now you see Maelstrom, and they're like, okay, let's go back to our roots. Let's try and get another Mountain Dragon.
Oh, flash actually used from Chuck T there, maybe fearing the Lysandra would take the Glacial Path in, as the third Mountain Drake is going to go down. Revenant actually chasing in. Wow. He got a little bit of that speed, but not able to quite find it there, and now Neo Restoration, he's forced to run away for himself. As the entirety of the team is there, but the third Mountain Drake was secured in favor. And actually, here we go. Zeta dashes in. He's looking for the Baron to knock away the members. Uses on his hourglass to stall for a little bit longer as Lay Mellow. He can't take the claw to the backside. Take 1-1 is trying to go in, but there's nothing he can find yet. No kills quite yet. Neo Restoration, he gets his Guardian Angel pop. Revenant is now going to take the damage here. The Kled is able to get away. He's flashing forward. He's looking for the remount here. He is going to get it. Shut down gold for Brodas, but Neo Restoration is there. The Kled is looking for the dash into the bear trap. Can he find it, Fred? Not able to quite get in range for another volley. They're trying to chase down on the Caitlyn. Teleport actually comes through from Lay Mellow to try and save his bot laner. As here he goes. They see it's there. The Glacial Path actually not taken, but it's enough to zone the team away. At the end of the day, that is going to be 2 for 3 in favor of Maelstrom once again.
Yeah, and I thought that he actually could have taken that Glacial Path, but aimed it a little bit more at the enemy team. But I don't know how much damage the Kled and Ashe can do versus someone like Lysandra with no ultimate. So I guess it was just kind of a zoning move, to say the least. But this game is just super close. It's just been fight after fight after fight. Both of these teams are just looking for literally whatever they can. They're kind of ignoring objectives as well. Neo Restoration ends up saying, you know what? I'm kind of bored. Like, we've been fighting so much. Let's go for a top lane tower.
Nocturne ultimate towards the top side of the map onto Neo Restoration, who's all by himself. Take 1-1. Will be able to get the dismount here. Neo Restoration, he doesn't have very much courage. Can he get the remount in time? Not quite. There it is. He's going to get it. He's going to be able to dash away with the help of the ultimate. Now Revenant is going to be the subject of aggression here. Correa is going to be able to get the stun down. The Darius is going to fall. Neo Restoration goes godlike, and he's hitting on the charge. There it goes, but it goes the different direction I expected. They're trying to go into Lay Mellow, who is able to take the claw away. Oh my goodness, they go for the pick on the Kled, and Kled says, no thank you, please.
Exactly. They actually ended up getting the pick onto Darius, which was really, really good. That was scary. And now they want to go right for the Baron, which is their specialty. They have 3 Mountain Dragons. This could not be the more perfect scenario.
Yeah, perfect setup for that. They're able to get the pick onto the top laner. They force the jungler back to base, and 3 Mountain Drakes means that Baron goes down in a heartbeat. So 33 minutes into the game, this is going to be a 5k gold lead here for Maelstrom, and Baron secure.
Yeah, definitely. 5k at 34 sounds a lot better than 3k at 7 minutes. Yeah, it definitely sounds about right. That Mountain Dragon gave that team 30% more Baron taking potential. So that Baron just absolutely got wiped, on top of just Ashe's sheer amount of Baron taking potential, which is still really good. Now I think we're going to start to see normal League of Legends play again. It's not going to be a monkey fest every single team fight. It's going to be very basic. I don't know if they're going to go 1-3-1, but definitely 3 in the mid lane and 1 in the bot lane.
Definitely could attempt to go for it. Neo Restoration once again has teleport, whereas his opposite number on lane 0 Inferno does not, so he can't afford to go for this 4-1 split push, likely, as the LeBlanc starts to group with a team. And Baron being in Maelstrom's court gives them so much advantage to finally start pushing in and looking to end this game, as they're not going to be that much stronger than Lane 0 Inferno for much longer. Gold leads are starting to sort of not matter, as most of these team members are starting to come out on their last items.
Yeah, the last items are coming out, meaning that the score doesn't matter, right? When everyone's level 18 and everyone has their full item build, level doesn't matter, gold doesn't matter. It's all about who can team fight better, and I love that type of League of Legends. We'll probably get around there if this game does go on for another little bit, but...
Mello actually misses. Soul Shackles comes out. They're trying to get on to Lissandra, who's forced to use the ultimate defensively, keep himself alive for a little bit longer. Paranoia used to try and break up the fight, but the Zhonya's Hourglass was forced out of Mello as well. He can't survive, though. Fred takes the killing spree, and now this is going to be Neo Restoration fighting with Revnon. He used the charge to get back into the fight. The heal is going to be there from the Darius. The Noxian Guillotine not nearly enough. Neo Restoration goes legendary now, and this is going to be the push in from Maelstrom. There is no stop to this.
Yeah, 4 members in the top lane, 1 in the bot lane just knocking on the door. They want to try and end this game.
Oh my goodness, Ladabilis is just dead. He's gone. He doesn't exist anymore. LeBlanc wipes him, and this is now 5 men strong here for Maelstrom. There are only 2 members remaining for Lane 0 Inferno. I see no way in which they can keep this alive. Binding actually does land. They're looking for the play. Take one tries to get in, but he's forced to flash away immediately. Double Guardian Angel popped at the exact same time. This should be the kills. Take 1 is going to get taken down. The tower is taken down. The Nexus goes down, and this is going to be Maelstrom with the reverse sweep.
31-16 at 36 minutes in. Maelstrom coming back in the last 2 games. All they have to do is get stomped in game number 1, and all of a sudden they're like, all right, we know what to do better. Let's get this. Let's get this bread.
Yeah. The answer, I guess, was literally ban the Garen, ban the Elise, and what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So very nicely played, and I think we have to put a lot of this credit as well onto the swap to Chuck T. All of a sudden, the team looks different. Kure looks a lot more comfortable down in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Chuck T really being able to show himself. I mean, the Orianna game was huge. This game on the LeBlanc, he was 9-1-12. Like, huge performances from this guy.
Yeah, he absolutely popped off, and I kind of trashed on him in the champion select of game number 2. I was like, he's not gonna do that good. Right, he's kind of coming into this one. He's a little bit rusty. Like, I don't know how he's going to synergize with this team. But hey, he wore the backpack valiantly. Ended up putting his whole entire team inside of it. Not to mention, the other members did well. I'm not saying that he's solo carry. But
yeah.
Neo Restoration 9-1-10. This guy popped off in the top lane. Zeta with the cleanest Gragas I've seen in a while. Fred popping off, as well as Cure in the bot lane. I loved it.
Yeah, very nicely performed all around here from Maelstrom, and Lane 0 Inferno will be taking their first loss of the season. They were able to take both of their previous matches 2-1, so they have that nice 2-match record. Sorry, they're 4-1 game record. So this is the first time they've lost 2 straight games, and that's got to be a big blow, especially at week 3.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the one thing that you can kind of think about is that it's early in the season. Right, you still have a couple of more weeks to improve your whole entire team play. You can start to try out some new comps, or maybe try and refine the ones that you already have going for yourselves. So I think that Brodas is actually a really good ADC. We've seen him throughout all 3 games, just not overperform, but he kind of held his own in that bot lane.
Yeah, Brodast really able to go aggressively when he wanted to. Had some great performances throughout the set, so definitely nothing to sneeze at, even if he couldn't come up with a win this time around. Certainly a player to keep your eye on going forward. And speaking of players to keep our eyes on, if you had to pick an MVP for this game, who's your choice?
Chuck T was awesome. I loved watching his mid lane play. I also love Neo Restoration. I love seeing good Kleds every once in a while. I was talking about Fred. Like, I'm giving everyone the MVP at this point, but Chuck T probably is number 1, but honorable mention to Fred, because I love watching good Ashes.
Yeah, definitely good. I'm going to go with Neo Restoration here personally. Maybe it's the Kled bias coming through. Same with your Ash bias here. But Neo Restoration, big member of this team, setting up the play with the charges, able to get the team into the fight every single time. Had some really clutch remounts in order to keep the fight going. So big moves from this guy on the same pick every single game, saying, I don't care what you play, I can beat you on the Kled. So
exactly,
nicely done. And that is going to be it from us tonight, guys. Thank you all so very much for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow with yet another Upsurge Leagues game, so make sure you tune in for that. Anyways, for myself, Joe Helmet Silva, joined here tonight by Daniel, the Saved One, Mena, and of course, Arc Wolf on the cast. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. We will see you next time. Have a nice night.